sword fight, fight, fight. Monkey sword fight, fight, fight. Monkey sword fight, fight, fight. Monkey sword, monkey sword.
Do the drafts,
fight,
which is when you pick all your players.
Yeah.
And it's just 5 hours of everyone getting steadily and steadily drunker until the end. You're all just shouting at each other because you want the last player on the list.
Right.
It's a great time. It's a great time.
Sounds
time, yeah.
amazing.
Oh yeah. You know,
Can I just get you to move your microphone just a wee bit over to the left?
there you are. I always feel strange when it's not me getting mic feedback. Because the first like 2-3
I never
weeks
get mic feedback.
Fuck off, Mike. That's why you got the nice chair.
Yes.
It's a nice piece, eh?
That is a nice piece.
Thanks a Barkrite for that.
I'm a
Good
nice
lad.
piece. All right, let's go. Let's get it going.
That's an episode title straight off the bat.
I'm a nice piece.
I'm a nice piece.
We're early now.
No,
Can I write that down?
Yeah, go for
I'm
it,
gonna
just in
write
case
that down.
anything
Just in
else pops
case.
up. Again, for those who haven't listened, we tend to name our episodes after just completely random shit that's
I
said
noticed
throughout.
that earlier today.
Oh yeah,
I had a quick scroll
nice.
and I noticed.
The episode titles are sometimes the funniest bit
Yeah.
of the entire show.
You don't want to admit that.
Cut that out, Andy.
I always think it's a good thing, though, that as long as the listeners know that the title is from a line in the podcast, that when the next episode comes out, especially if they think it's a funny title and usually got a good gift game going for the episode as well,
Yeah.
The
then
gifts
they're
on
more
Twitter.
likely to listen to it and really be switched on, waiting for that moment as why did they name the episode after
Yeah.
that moment in the show. So
I always gauge it on how much Mike laughs when he listens back to it.
You're on a roll with these gifts too. Like,
strong gift game. Strong. It's important.
Right, well,
game is way
Important in the
strong.
Tinder game, Mike.
I know nothing about that anymore.
pardon me. Right. Well, is that decent preamble?
That was probably
10
too
minutes
much.
off
Yeah.
10 minutes of preamble. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Perth's premier podcast, Monkey Sword Fight, with me, your host Jordan Patrick, and my co-host Mr. Michael Dots.
Dots is back. Word with
Yes.
Dots.
Podcast daddy.
You know, I didn't even send one in last week. How terrible is that?
You
That's
didn't.
lazy of me.
I know.
And I'm sorry.
That's all right. No one missed it.
Sorry. Trufted. Words with Dots. The longer we dwell on our misfortunes, the greater their power is to harm us. Oh, you like that? You like that? I'm back, baby!
Got Andy Mac on the ones and twos as per usual.
What's happening?
This week we are joined by very special guests, tattooist, artist, one of my oldest friends, Fidjit. How are you, pal?
I am very good, thank you.
Awesome. I'm very happy to have you here.
It's very lovely to be here.
It is. Although we creeped you out bringing you into the studio.
Yeah, through the dark abandoned bits outside, and yeah, it was nice.
Straight
It was
into an
nice.
abandoned shipping
It's
container.
welcoming.
Oh, all right.
If someone said to you, what did you do? Is that I hung out with one of my pals and 2 strangers in an abandoned shipping container. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Do you want me to take your number and just check
It's
in
nice
on you?
in here.
It is. I told you, Andy Mac's got
cosy.
some.
It's a porta cabin, not a shipping container.
Sorry.
Just to clear that up. All right.
Is there a
It's a
distinct?
studio, first of all. Let's
Yeah,
call it what it is.
Yeah.
Pardon me. Sorry, I've got the cold again because I'm sapped.
Uh-oh.
Surprised he's here this week,
Oh,
man.
fuck
No.
off. Fuck you. This week's show is sponsored by Stevie Mac's Skate School. Yeah, Stevie Mac's skateboarding lessons, 1-to-1 tuition. All ages and abilities are catered for, and skate clubs every week, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Message me for more. I'm just reading stuff. Message Stevie Mac's Skate School on Facebook for more information. I'm fucked today. Off to a terrible start. Stevie Mac's Skate School. Get involved. Find them on Facebook. Talked about this last week. Stevie Mac's one of my favourite people in the world now.
Yes, he's a great guy.
It's awesome.
And he drinks
Absolutely.
Bud Light, so right up at the top. He
I don't
goes.
think it's I like him that much. I don't even give him hassle for drinking Bud Light.
Why would you give him hassle?
It's effectively
Don't answer that.
water. Shout out to everyone who got onto the Patreon this week.
Yes, thank you very much.
Pardon me.
It was overwhelming to see the support we've gotten on the Patreon.
And
Target achieved.
yes, thank you very much. We appreciate
So,
it.
yeah.
What does it say in Call of Duty when you, what is it? Achievement unlocked. Yeah. That's,
Have people listen to you.
yeah.
Yes. Very much. We will be an additional bit of content this evening as well. Something new we're going to try.
Last week I felt bad that I wasn't involved in the inaugural Patreon extra content, but it was funny. It was really, really good. So if you haven't subscribed, get your finger out and
was it
subscribe.
£3 a month.
Yeah.
Help our brothers out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Do we have the list of them? Does anyone pull that up?
I can get it quickly on the Patreon app that you said didn't work, but it does.
It didn't work on my phone, Michael. I've re-downloaded it now. Mind something happening here, eh?
Let's just be nice. This is a nice moment.
I'm sorry,
Shout
I'm sorry.
out to all of our Patreon subscribers.
Yeah, exactly,
Let's
yeah.
not like start fighting with
Mike's
one another.
causing.
Is this all of them? Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Okay.
read them out.
We're leaving this one out, right? Yeah, all right. David Forrett. Are we gonna say thank you for everyone?
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, Dave.
Callum McLaughlin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Callum. No, we're not gonna. Ralphie Roggs. Go on the Stag with Ralph for next week, next month,
shit.
actually. Sorry.
D. Rogowski.
Yes, and we're gonna have a lot of podcast feedback on that once we're wasted. Stephen Tosh just dropped a new
Stosh.
blog.
Stat.
Yes, he did.
Stosh, thanks a lot. Andy Henderson,
Yes, the original Maurice creator.
Nate Black, Alistair Cook, Rachel, aka Bestie. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
There you go. And Fraser Reevy.
Big shout out to Reedy who
Last
done
but not least,
the t-shirts.
Yeah.
you too can get your shout out on this podcast.
Yes.
All you have to do is donate.
Well, we do. Are we doing the competition for the Patreon? Have we discussed that properly yet?
Well, yeah, I think next week, whoever's there on the Patreon subscribers or is still there, we'll do a draw and give away some nice wee t-shirt maybe.
Ooh,
I
look
think
at us
that
giving
sounds-
shit away.
I think that sounds good. So
Deadly.
Love it.
Yeah, and there are still t-shirts as well. I think I've still got a handful of. There's only XLs left though. But if you require another size, then give me a shout because I'm going to get another order made probably in about a week and a half, couple of weeks time.
Deadly.
Braw.
So get on it.
Right. Is that all the official stuff out the way?
I think so.
Feedback?
Fucking PA, mate.
Ah.
Ain't no thing.
Good on you for reaching out to them and saying, hey, write some shit about us.
That was the weirdest thing. I was working from home that day because the wee man wasn't well. And my phone went. And it was like, it's Rachel from PA. And I was like sitting in my dressing gown on my laptop, just like,
Wanking.
I just beaten
with the
off.
boy there? Oh my God.
He was napping. Is that weird?
Ah.
Sorry, continue.
Aye, so she asked us a question. Didn't even break stride. No, it was good. It was fucking some nice feedback. It was really nice. The wee man was absolutely buzzing.
Yeah, it was really I actually woke up to a message from Stuart from TFM.
Yeah.
Sent me a message saying that, hey, good shot, listen to the podcast, and it's really good. And I was like, what? I scrolled up and I saw the picture. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I didn't expect it to be that big.
A full page.
Went and got a PA and I went to work. And then when I came home, Connie had put it up on the wall in the hallway. I was like, oh, that's nice.
Nice.
Riley took it to school to show his pals.
Really?
Yeah. I
Oh,
was
my
like,
daughters
oh.
didn't do that. Losers.
Yeah. My boy loves me. Yeah, it was nice. Fucking got some nice engagement, some nice feedback. Nice to get a bit of recognition from
Yeah, it
the
was
PA.
good.
I've not been in the PA since I used to play football for the Cubs.
It was good that, like, it seemed after that, like, the Facebook stuff started kind of took off that day. A lot of people, it's still a respected publication in Perth, I guess. So
It's the only real publication.
It certainly is.
yeah, so a lot of people took the opportunity to like our Facebook page. So thank you
They
very
took
much.
a break
for that.
from people getting offended by the tannin salon one day
Yeah.
to talk about our podcast for
What
a
was
day.
offensive about that
There was breasts on it.
on a tiling salon?
Yeah, there was a woman in a bikini. It was very
Shocking.
offensive. Yeah,
Mm.
Shocking.
awful. I, for one,
It's not Perth.
no. Well, Perth shut down the Ann Summers
Yeah,
years
they
ago as
did,
well.
Yeah. It was too risky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it
Bit of
the,
a sort of cult story around.
It is,
Like,
Is it?
these
Yeah.
days, I remember when they shut down Ann
They shut
Summers,
down
you know
the-
what I mean?
they
It
shut
totally
down-
is.
Because we
No.
were all shopping there so much that when it left, we were.
They took the bunting down. I know this isn't sexual, but they took the bunting down off the bridge because it was too colourful for Perth as well. They've got like a colour scheme and everything.
Yeah, everything
Don't
should
want
be grey.
anything too wild.
Grey for all
Yeah.
the old
Gray,
bastards that live
brown.
like, it's just fucking. It's don't worry because the old people will start dying off soon, and the younger people coming up are
Yikes.
actually pretty sound. So
They'll just change. They'll just turn into the old people.
oh, don't say
That's
that.
true.
I'm becoming
will.
one of the old people.
Sorry,
I am
You
too.
are.
feel.
I saw a tweet the other day that said, like, I'm so old now that I don't like being in crowds of teenagers now. I'm just kind of like, break it up, break the riffraff up, get out of here. I shake my fist. That's plenty.
That's plenty.
That's plenty, son. I like that. Yeah.
I got it when I was giving a boy from my football team a lift home. I was like, I'm 30 in August, and he was like, I just turned 19 last week. I was like, booted him out of my car. I was like, you can fucking walk
Jeez.
Run. You have a lot of energy.
with your young legs. Or so
Wait,
is it-
how old are you again?
I'm 30 in August.
I thought you were already 30.
I look
Sorry.
it. That's all right.
But I just knew you were older than me.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay.
I never knew that growing up, though.
I wasn't 30 when I was growing up. I'm not technically. I shouldn't be classed as 30 now. I'm still pretty much a 15-year-old. I did download a fart keyboard on my phone. We'll get to that later, though.
It's like my buzzer.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a little feedback coming from me, actually. I just wanted to thank Stosh for mentioning the hit in Glasgow when he was telling about how it knocked him and the other guy over. I was like, oh, yeah, that was on me. I'm sure I lost a couple of brain cells after that, but...
Did you tell Connie to listen to it so she believed that you're a hard man? listen.
She wouldn't listen anyway. I just try and tackle her in the house anyway, so she realizes it.
So yeah, date, Mike.
I imagine like you and Connie, is that like you remember the original Pink Panther?
Yeah.
Where he had the butler that kept attacking him whenever he came home. So I just imagine you and Connie, whoever gets home first just hides.
She does that. Like sometimes, like she'll go take the dogs out late, and then I'll like be fucking around in the house, and then I'll come downstairs, and she'll kind of snuck into the house, and she'll hide in the closet or behind the curtain or something, and jump out and try and scare me. I'm like, don't do that. So now I just stay in the bed. I just don't get out of the bed. You walk the dogs on your own. Some other feedback. I'm going to get into this. Where I went to whiskey drinking. I went to a distillery with one of my friends, and we were talking about the show, and he was saying that a lot of people in his office at the place that shall not be named were saying that it's great. You know, they like me, they like you, Andy. They will like you after this podcast. But they were saying that they feel like it would be good if it was shorter. So we discussed this in the show. I know you made your feelings about it. I don't know if you did, Andy. What do you think about the length of our podcast?
I don't.
Shut up.
No, like, I don't really care. I'm more interested in what do
As the
people.
producer.
I'm more interested in what do people want to hear, right?
Yeah.
If I could do this episode and it was 2 hours long every week, and you guys preferred it as 1 2 hour chunk once a week, that's fine. I'll do it. Mm-hmm. If you'd rather have 2 1 hour episodes, say one on a Tuesday and one on a Friday, I'd do that. I would just cut the episode in half, so you could have, for instance, all the chat with the guests for the first hour for episode 1, and then later in the week have all the bullshit like Braw or Naw and all that other stuff in the second episode later in the week.
Or do you listen to podcasts, Fidjit?
Do I listen to this podcast?
Do you listen to any podcasts?
No.
No, you
not
don't.
really.
Okay.
I sometimes when I'm working in the studio, it's nice to have a podcast on the background, but I never pick them.
No. Okay. All right. Well, we could put it to our listeners. We can put it up on the Facebook page and see what you guys like.
I think the 2 hour one. I wouldn't want to make the episode shorter because I don't feel like we talk until we're finished talking.
Yeah.
And we never rush ourselves through, and I'll be scared
That's
of
true,
rushing and missing a wee nugget of gold.
It's not that the episode would still be treated the same. You would just record it as a one-hour, but essentially it would be split into 2 sections. You would have, say, a 50-minute episode, which is chatting to the guest, and then maybe another 50 minutes to an hour and 15, which is all the segment stuff. But you would just record it all in one sitting, and you just chop it in half, release one.
We'll put it to the people.
That'll be our poll of the week. So whether you would like to have the podcast, keep the podcast as it is, we can break it up into 2 separate episodes and release one as Andy suggested on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then Friday. Or if you have another suggestion, just write it in the comments when we post it on Facebook.
I think it's just going to be really hard to condense it down into just 1 hour once a week with all the stuff that goes on.
All this delicious content.
Yeah.
Yeah, with all the segments and all the stuff that's become a regular part of the show. That all takes up pretty much an hour in itself.
It does.
So, yeah, put it to the people. I don't care either way. Just
what
do they prefer, and I'm happy to do it.
Yeah,
what do you guys want?
I'd like to get a little feedback, so make sure you jump on the Facebook page and vote. Rock the vote. Vote or die, motherfucker. Vote or die.
Right. We all good? That feedback even wrapped up?
I think that's all we got, yeah. As far as feedback.
Tremendous. So, we get to our guest.
Yeah.
Hi, Fidjit. How are you?
I'm good.
Tattooist, artist, singer, songwriter, performer.
All of that.
All of that in a bag of chips.
Yep.
Can we start with the name? Where did Fidjit come from?
Good timing. I've got Tourette's.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a nickname that I've had. I mean, originally I used to call myself Fidjit when I was a child because of the bat from Basil the Great Mouse Detective.
He used to
The
creep me
peg
out.
leg. Oh
he used
no,
to creep me the fuck out,
my
man.
favourite.
Now you've said that, I've got like
Yeah,
PTSD. The scene when he walks in, you hear a clunk, clunk. Oh, fuck.
It's like peg leg. I used to make my teachers call me it until they called my parents in and told me that they weren't going to do it anymore. So it came from there, but then when I was a teenager, people called me it because it's ticking a lot.
Okay.
So it's just that's it, yeah.
Did I make this awkward? I'm sorry if I did.
No, not in the slightest. I don't think, nothing really makes me awkward, don't worry. You can
I find it weird as well if that's what we're calling
You can
her.
ask me literally anything, yeah.
I'm the complete opposite. I make everything awkward.
Yeah.
It makes myself
Michael,
feel
Mike,
awkward.
if you didn't say that now, he would have texted us the next day. He's like, did I make it awkward by asking her about it?
While standing on the Tay Bridge, like, oh my God, I gotta end this.
Mike every now and again brings us his real life problems, and then Andy Mack smashes them out the park.
Okay,
Advice.
I like that.
If you ever,
is, it's good.
If you ever go back and listen, there's some segments we do, I think, called Agony Andy, where Andy answers
I'm into
self-help
that. Yeah,
problems.
yeah, I like
Yeah.
that.
It's my favourite. It's like a sporadic feature, but
Are
it's
you
my
good at
favourite
it?
shit.
I think so.
I just shoot from the hip.
Yeah.
That's kind of my problem sometimes as well. So.
And we should say we accept anonymous emails. So if you wanted to send one in, Fidjit, or if anyone wanted to send one in and didn't want to attach your email, attach your real name to it, we'll still give you an answer that's just as good. Or Andy will give you an answer that's just as
Keep
good.
them clean, eh? Leave the innuendo to me.
Yeah, we've gotten some dirty ones, like some filthy ones that we
yeah.
couldn't read.
Like anonymous ones.
Yeah.
No. This one
No.
This
wasn't
one had the
anonymous.
name on it, but it was
Oh,
about
really?
his friend, and it was the
Yeah,
most
yeah,
disgusting
the
story.
friend, yeah.
Couldn't even read it out on air. It was.
I've just had a lot of similar stuff because I've just done, or I'm in the middle of making a zine. It's called Secrets. I just asked people to send me their secrets, and I've illustrated them for this scene.
Oh, that's a
Oh
good
my
idea.
God!
That sounds
Yeah, some of the things that people said because I told them. I mean, obviously I'm going to know who it came from, but I'm like, but it's totally anonymous. Your name's not going to be anywhere near it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, all that
Some of
knowledge that was just spilling out of your head as well. I would just be sitting like,
Some of them are insane.
I guess people obviously send them in who know you then, so really trust you to keep that
Yeah,
to
yeah, which
yourself
is
and-
nice. Yeah, because I have had quite a lot of people that I actually personally know. A lot of them are people that just follow me on Instagram or whatever, or people who like my work. But I have had some from people I know personally
Does that make
who
it
now I
awkward as
look at
fuck?
in a different way.
there's a way to say. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing worse than when you find out something about someone that completely flips their image like that you had of that person.
Yeah.
And you're almost just
Of course.
Can't go back.
Yeah.
Can't go back.
like,
It's all I see now.
oh wow. So like, tell us more about that. So where did the idea come of that? Was that just like a
Curiosity.
just a general case of
I
being
just
nosy?
really love stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm into it. I
Where-
like things like that.
Where did you post the request for the secrets, though?
On my Instagram story.
Oh, okay. And so, how long ago did you do this, first of all?
How long ago did I do it?
Yeah.
Maybe about a month and a half ago.
And how many, like, ballpark have you gotten?
Maybe about 60.
Oh, all right. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
So you're illustrating them.
Yeah, yeah. So it's going to be like a little zine, just of the juiciest ones, with a little illustration and then the little secret written underneath it.
Oh,
Fucking
that's
put
great.
me one
Yeah.
aside already.
I'm,
That
I'm-
sounds
well, I'm in the
fucking
middle of
amazing.
making it, so whenever you'll see it on my Instagram
Yeah.
when they come out. But I'll send you one.
That sounds so fucking
You
good.
can add a secret into it if you want
Oh,
as
I
well.
don't know. I don't know. I've known you for too long.
I think I kind of want to.
loads.
Yeah.
You can all tell me your secrets,
Andy can
and I'll
have
put
his
them
own
in.
book.
Yeah.
So so you're illustrating. So your main job, title, profession is tattoo artist.
Yes.
So let's just go right back to the start. How did you get into that?
Like, why was I interested in it, or how did I actually get into it?
Both.
Well, I became interested in it when I was a teenager because, well, my parents have got tattoos. Like, my dad's got a lot of tattoos from when he was in the army and stuff. And I had a massive obsession with prison when I was about 15, like
Fair
about
enough.
14,
Let's
15.
explore that.
Let's
Let's
talk
explore that. So, do you remember how this got started? Did you know someone in prison, or
No, I wanted to.
you
but
wanted to know
yeah.
someone in prison?
Yeah, something that's really annoyed my dad throughout the years because he's
It
like,
would.
you wouldn't like them. I'm like, I do like them. He's like, no, you don't like them.
So what was it?
So-
What was it that you wanted to know? Did you want to try and reform them somehow?
No,
or-
no.
Just the outlaw
No,
nature.
I just like the whole they're just outsiders. I mean, I have a rule when it comes to prisoners.
I'm pretty sure we
As we all do, yeah.
We talked about this
In
before.
your cage before 12.
I think we talked about it as like, is it what crimes?
Yeah,
are,
yeah,
'cause
totally. Like,
Okay.
We
like-
talked about this before. Remember when we were talking about knowing people in prison? Your barber was once in prison,
Yes.
and you're like, depending on what crime he did,
Okay.
depends on
it
how I feel about
totally
him.
depends on the crime.
All right.
So anything sexual is immediately no.
Out. Okay.
They're gone immediately.
Okay.
Anything like that. But everything else can be passable.
Okay, well, what about... So we don't want, like, white-collar crime. We don't want, like, tax evasion and
No,
shit
that's
like
boring.
that.
That's right.
Yeah, those are the type of people that never actually go to prison.
Yeah.
So how old do you even know this is?
About 15, 14, 15, probably maybe about 13, because I used to be in love with this guy in a film who was a prisoner.
Okay. Who's this?
I don't want to say it. 'Cause
Okay, that's fine. All right, no, that's cool. That's
right.
fine.
No, okay, so it's this
You
guy
can beep
who...
it out if you want.
It's this guy who plays a guy called Billy the Kid in The Green Mile.
Okay.
But my best friend Tanis at the time was a very good friend because I was like massively in love with this guy, but I'd never seen the end. So she hid the ending from me for ages.
Was
and
this
ages
Sam
and ages.
Rockwell?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
'cause you-
I was. I mean, apparently this is hard to explain why you'd be in love with him, but I was genuinely like totally infatuated by him. And she never let me see the end. And then one day she's like, "It's time." She's like, "This has gone far enough. It's time." And she showed me it, and he is a paedophile. So that was that.
That's so,
Ruined.
that's so
Yeah,
disappointing for you.
it was actually heartbreaking. It was awful. So that's probably. I mean, that's a lie. I was going to say that's probably where it started, but it didn't. I've just always been like that.
Well, there's always everyone has their one thing. Like mine was "Hit Me Baby One More Time" by Britney Spears. Like that when that video came on, and I was about 11 at the time. I was just like, "Oh well, this is new."
Yeah.
It's not even just that side of it or anything. It's just the whole thing fascinates me. Especially American prison.
Yeah, I'm kind of fascinated by that too.
It's just fascinating, and like why people would do certain things also fascinates me. And then the tattoos come into it.
Mm-hmm.
American prisoners' tattoos are unreal.
Yeah.
So I watch a guy on YouTube called Sean Atwood. And I don't know, it might be something you're into. I mean, he's a guy that ended up in jail in Arizona. He's from the UK for shifting loads of pills back in the day.
Okay.
And basically what he does is every episode on his channel, he's talking through different questions about, what goes on in prison, all these kind of stories stuff. It's just, I kind of get what you're saying. It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
About all the tattoos and what certain tattoos mean at certain gangs and what certain things signify. It's like a whole other language.
It totally is.
It's
Especially
incredible.
like, well, I mean, if you look at like Russian prison tattoos, it is literally a language. You can read somebody's body and know exactly what they've done and where they've been and everything. And I think that's pretty magic.
Well, it's the whole thing of tattoos, because I suppose it spans like all different cultures and natures.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Right down to
It's
like
everywhere.
like
Yeah,
the Mayans. Was it the Mayans who had like they used to do it with the hammer and the.
it's literally literally every culture.
Maoris do that.
That was
yeah,
it, yeah.
Maoris do. Yeah, yeah. It's literally every culture has some form of tattooing in it.
So was that like the progression?
Um,
No, you don't have to back anything up with facts.
Facts are optional.
Yeah.
like, oh God, yeah.
So it's spin off. So from we won't talk about the questionable crush in the Green Mile, but like, so is that where the sort of the interest and the
I mean, like I said as well, I had an interest in it before anyway, because my parents are tattooed and they used to have lots of tattoo magazines lying around the house and stuff. But I never thought of doing it as a job. I just knew I wanted to be heavily tattooed. But I'd never considered actually doing it myself. And then the more I got into it and the whole prison thing and everything, I mean, I thought that I'd end up tattooing script and gangster shit, but I'm not.
tribal
I'm, like,
tattoos.
You have to be that to do that.
Yeah.
So, you know. But yeah, it kind of just went from there.
What was your first tattoo, and how old were you?
On me,
Yeah.
I was 18. I tried to get one before, but
Got shut down.
they caught me. Yeah.
Send me to jail. I want to go.
I used to say that all the time. I used to say that all the time until it dawned on me that I wouldn't go to a male prison. I would go to a female prison, and I don't want to go to one of them.
I know. What was that?
I mean, I don't. Obviously,
Don't
now
wanna
I'm
go-
older, I'm like, well, I don't want to go to a male prison either. But at
Yeah.
the time, I was so like, yeah, I'm ready for this. I was,
I could totally
I was
fucking handle
literally like,
myself.
I'm
That's such
so
a
ready for this.
Teenager thing to think.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to go hang out in jail. Leave me alone, Dad.
I used to say that to my parents. I'd be like, so what if I get arrested? I don't care what I'm doing. So what? I'm ready. But
I've got my shank and everything. It's when you're melting a toothbrush.
I used to think it was so crazy about like the things that they like the weapons that they make up in jail.
Yeah.
Like I was watching that show. I think we talked about it on here at the time about the guy that gets he gets so drunk and he has sex with the girl, but she ends up dead, and then he doesn't know if he did it or not. Right?
Who is
how
this?
did that happen?
Was this one where the guy wakes up in a suitcase?
No. The girl ends up dead, and then it could be the father. But then the guy, really nice kid, ends up going into jail and getting transformed into like this, this thug basically. And then one of the guys had like, ramen noodles in a cup and like squirted like baby oil in it, but it was hot water and threw it on them and burned them up. And I was like, that's fucking genius. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to back somebody up.
You've
if
got
you don't
to be
have,
creative.
You got to be
Yeah.
creative. Yeah. I wouldn't last 10 minutes in jail. I'd have to. They better take my shoelaces because I'm fucking hanging myself. I'm done.
I'm too pretty for jail.
But you're big. You could fight your way away.
I don't mean, I might be big, but I'm fucking useless, man. I'm a hugger. Do you know what I mean? I'm a hugger. I'm not a fighter. I was just having that. Just kill my big brother.
We're gonna fuck him up too.
So were you always sort of like just to jump straight back in?
Sorry, yeah. Tangent.
This will happen often and for a long
That's
time.
fine.
So I remember you used to write a lot of songs when you were younger as well. So were you always into drawing as well?
Yeah, I think my parents say that I started drawing as soon as I could hold a pencil, and I've got lots of little drawings that they've kept around the house of. I don't know if you've seen the Moomins. The Groke from the Moomins. I used to always draw her, and they've got lots of them around the house. But yeah, I always knew I wanted to do something art related. I always wanted to sing. I always wanted to be a singer, and then I don't know, just the idea of tattooing kind of took over that a little bit. I always thought that I would do tattooing for like a background. What's
Job,
the word?
hobby.
Like that would be my job that pays for me to then go and do music.
Yeah.
So I always thought that I would do it like that, but tattooing is all consuming. Like you have to give it absolutely everything, and it takes up so much of your time. So it's until you get to the point where, like, I'm really lucky now. I'm at the point where I can sort my time out. Pretty much everything's down to me when I work and like where I go and all that kind of stuff. So I can now take time off. So I've just about to take time off to do some music.
Oh, cool.
But I mean, that's been ages that I've been like saying, I need to take time off and do this. I need to take time off and do this. Or I thought I can do it alongside, and it's really difficult because it takes up so much time.
Well, actually, it blows my mind because we've known each other since we were about 15.
I was 12.
Oh shit! So I would have been 13, so
Yeah.
about 17 years.
Yeah.
So when I see because you're everywhere, right? You're traveling all over the world to tattoo.
Yeah.
So like,
Really?
Yeah, travel everywhere. I can't stay in the same place for longer than like 5
Like,
minutes.
it blows my mind. Like I'll see like your Instagram following, and then you're in like New York, and I was like, fuck. We used to sit and smoke fags in at the skate park. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like when we were like teenagers.
Yeah.
So let's go further back in because we're jumping ahead. So you started tattooing in Perth. You're an apprentice in Perth.
I did apprentice in Perth, yeah, for like 2 years. I didn't tattoo. Well, I mean, I did 2 tattoos whilst I was there at the very, very end of the apprenticeship. I did a rose and a skull.
Nice.
2 like very, very simple, very tiny things. But my boss at the time was always really like, he kind of like teased you. I mean, it was like a really old school apprenticeship. So the whole 2 years was like super intense, hard work, which is great. Like
Yeah.
I'm fine with that as long as you're going to get
There's a goal towards.
The end.
the
yeah.
goods, like you do all that so that they give you something that you can then have an actual whole lifetime career with and use, that can take you lots, like you say, like the traveling and everything. Like that's what they're giving you, the ability to go and do all these things. But sometimes, not necessarily saying this, it's sometimes people will take apprentices on with the false promise of this happening, and then they kind of like, they just push it back further.
Become a
and
bit of a
further
personal
and
I
further
think that
and
happens
further.
quite a bit in
All
all different
the time.
trades.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I'm sure
Yeah.
it happens absolutely everywhere. So it kind of went a bit like that. And so I got a second apprenticeship in London.
Down in the big smoke.
So how do
Yeah.
you get skilled up enough to put a needle on someone's body and put ink in them for the rest of their life? Because I am just Mr. Inconsistent. I would never be able to do something on paper and then on someone the same exact way. Like how long did it take you to feel that comfortable? It's like, I can do that. Don't worry about it. I can do that quickly. And
There's a certain amount of faking it. There's like a
Yeah.
certain amount of faking confidence because you have to be really confident. You have to be like, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah, if you're like
So-
tattoos, sit with like shaky hands before you're like, let's just slow down a little bit before you.
There's just this thing that you kind of learn alongside learning how to tattoo is to learn how to pretend that you're super confident that this is going to work and it's going to look great.
This is exactly how it runs for me working in recording studios with these big analog desks. You cannot, for 1 minute, when you suddenly lost the signal and you can't find out where things are, why is the vocal not come back, sit there and be going, oh, fuck, fuck, fuck.
Yeah.
You've got to make it look as though you know exactly what's going on all the time, even when you don't have a fucking clue what's going
Totally.
on.
You
And that's
can't let
so
the
relatable.
person. You can't let the person see you going. Oh, I mean, trust me. Whilst
like-
I was apprenticing, there were times I was tattooing people. I mean, the second. So my first apprenticeship was so strict to the point of not being allowed to touch machines until my boss told me I was ready to, and all that kind of stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
My second apprenticeship was really the opposite. The guy who was teaching me was super laid back, super chilled out, and he just gave me his machines and a room and was just like, just go nuts. And he's like, you just get people in. He's like, if you can get people in to get your flash paintings tattooed, then you can just start doing them.
Yeah.
So there was quite a lot of times no one had even shown me how to, like, I didn't even know how to set a machine up at that point because my other boss, from being so old school, would never let me watch him set his machine up. So I didn't actually really have a clue what I was doing, but he'd just be like, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, don't worry about it. So I learned from just trial and error.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of times where I'd tattoo someone and be like,
Oops.
oh my God, like looking at it, like, oh yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
Talk them into it like, yeah, it does look kind of good.
Just you've tattooed me twice. You never did that with me though, right?
No,
Yeah, cool.
So I assume that when you went down to London, there was a lot more like people and traffic around. So you had more opportunity than here in Perth for people to come in the shop and just nosy around. You can kind of talk them into a tattoo.
Yeah,
or?
I mean the shop itself that I worked in Perth had an amazing client base. They were packed out, like they were actually like booked in advance for months. But again, I can't really say because whenever I was in Perth, I wasn't allowed to tattoo people yet. So
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
it was a bit different. But I mean, most of the stuff, most of the people that I tattooed in London came from online,
Okay.
which is now still the same. It's all online.
Yeah.
It's very different from how it used to be. You
Do
don't-
some shops maybe ride on the fact that they're just a tattoo shop in London?
I don't think you can.
I don't think
really.
you can. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
understand.
suppose actually. Yeah.
Nowadays, especially. So obviously, like for example, you asked me about my first tattoo. My first tattoo is now covered up because it was pretty dreadful, and I had quite a lot of awful tattoos that I now have covered up. You can't really get away with that. That was back whenever it was all like word of mouth, or you'd just say if even online, if you'd seen a tattooist you really liked and you liked their work, you just take it to your local tattooist and be like, "Can you do something like this?" Because it seemed unobtainable to be able to actually go to that person. Whereas it's changed so much now that all these people come in and they're like 20 years old and they have perfect bodysuits. It's painful because I'm like, it's so different. So everybody's going on Instagram. They have everyone's portfolio sat there, so they can spend time like going through and make sure that they never get bad tattoos. So like if a shop is trying to just ride off the fact that they're a shop in London, people will still see through it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe slightly less with walk-in trade if there's like, say, I mean, it's a very touristy place in certain parts of London, obviously, so you get tourists just wanting to get tattooed for a souvenir whilst they're there. That's maybe a bit different. But people usually nowadays go to someone specifically because they've looked at their stuff online and they just want something from them. So it doesn't actually really matter where you are either. They just want to go to you to get what you do. It's really different now.
Oh, nice.
What's the strangest tattoo request you've ever had?
Oh God, I don't actually. Okay, right, okay.
that was quick.
Nice.
I was gonna say I don't actually know. I've had a lot of weird things, or things that people might find weird because some of my work is quite weird anyway.
Okay.
So like I do some women like breastfeeding pigs and frogs and rabbits and things, or I do a lot of women with like pregnant bellies with little things in their bellies, or I've done different tattoos of people I did one of Sylvia Plath committing suicide with her head in an oven and things like that. So I know that people would think that was a bit weird, but to me, they're not. So to me, I had a woman come in once who had this picture, and she kept showing me this picture, but I couldn't see it hadn't clicked in my brain what this was a picture of. And she's like, I want this on my whole back. I don't want this whole back piece thing. And then I suddenly saw what it was, and it was like this cartoon fox with all these flowers and fairies and stuff around it, and the fox was just hugging a really giant penis in the middle.
All right.
And so she wanted the
That's
penis all
strange.
the way down her back with the fox, like,
Don't they all?
giving it a hug. That was pretty weird.
Wow.
Or people coming for walk-ins and asking for like racist things, or
Yeah, that's what my next question
Yeah.
was going to be.
Yeah.
Like, do you have things that you would not tattoo on
of course,
somebody? Yeah. And so
like anything like that, I
Yeah.
would obviously tell
knock
them
away.
to piss
Yeah.
off. Yeah. Yeah, you get a lot of. It depends where you are. Totally depends where you are. Like in Scotland, you still get a lot of. If you're doing walk-ins and stuff, you still get people asking for like the red hand of Ulster and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Which obviously you're like, nah, you can go somewhere else for that.
No, thank you.
But yeah.
Did you do the penis fox tattoo?
No,
Oh.
she didn't show up. I booked her in with someone else, and she didn't show up.
do you get a lot of people that come with half-baked ideas to like, oh, I want this, and that, and I kind of want this on my back, or I want, and you have to do all the work to say, all right, I got to tie all this together and put it together.
Yeah, like some everybody goes about it in kind of different ways. Sometimes people are so dead set on what they want, and they don't want to budge from it at all.
Specific and
They're
rigid.
really, really
Yeah.
specific, yeah. And then sometimes people just, again, it's because of the thing, because they've been looking on Instagram and they've obviously found my work and they like it and they like what I do, so they just want me to do anything.
Yeah.
So sometimes people are, there is such a thing as being too vague. Sometimes people can, they want to give you total free reign, so they're like, just do whatever you want. But I'm like, I can't actually just do whatever, because I could do literally anything that I
Yeah.
want.
Have you heard of
And then
Sylvia
you-
Plath? Yes.
yeah, exactly. That's what happens when you give me free reign. So yeah,
Oven?
so yeah, you get people who are like maybe a little too open sometimes, but sometimes it's good. It just depends on the person.
Yeah.
But you can make.
I would
it
imagine
work.
it'd be like, it's just an example off the top of my head, like if you go to even like a barber shop, anywhere you have to sit for an extended period of time,
Yeah.
it must be tough if the person's got zero chat whatsoever.
No, I think it's fine. I'm not really fussed. Like, I just gauge it by them. If they're not saying anything, I always just assume that they're getting tattooed.
It's like a haircut, basically, yeah.
'Cause I got a tattoo from Fidjit once
I
on
was
my
just
rib
about to say,
cage.
some people have great chat on on kitchen tables whilst getting their ribs tattooed.
That was horrific. Can I just state there now, because I was hungover to death.
Oh, no.
And the worst thing is I felt really bad at the time, because we were at your house, but like Mark and Joan, like there was so many people there just
There was
learning about it. And I'm
there
just
was a
lying on this
crowd.
kitchen
There was
table
a
with my
little
top off,
crowd,
getting my
yeah.
rib cages tattooed, which I will say hurt like the dickens. But the worst bit was whenever like Fidget squirted the water on to like wipe off the excess stuff, I'd be a really creepy and I felt like the world's biggest creep. So
Have you watched that show, Just Tattoo of Us?
No.
You haven't watched
No.
it? No. Okay. Are you aware of what it is, though?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. We'll move on.
Yeah, like tattoos and TV.
No good?
I would say that would be like what the X Factor was to music.
It's honestly, all tattooers just sit there and go, oh god.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
I caught
No, it's cool.
I caught for about 15 minutes of it once up at my brother's house, and it is some of the most awkwardly.
It's pretty shocking TV, yeah, just to know that people have like I saw one today actually where they had like a guy's like asshole like as someone's belly button.
Oh, wow.
And I was like,
Classic.
yeah, like that's crazy.
That's like that like sort of Malaga 1995 stag do
Yeah.
tattoo. Like, I don't know if I dislike anyone that much.
No.
It's what surprised me about these shows is like someone goes on with their mum and they're like, she's a total dick. I'm like, that's your mother. Anyway,
I was just thinking about what you were saying there about the boys on the cheap holidays and that. Like, I know loads of boys that come back in the day with the really shitty fucking lion and that, from the Magaluf holiday on arm, and then you look at it like 10 years on, and it doesn't look like anything. It just looks like a big red blob, man. It's all faded, and you're just like, fucking, what was going through your mind?
I know,
when you
there's
thought-
the old there's the old urban legend of the Scottish guy that went in and asked for a thistle and came out with a pineapple
Yes.
because the Spanish guy didn't know what he was talking about.
Just put this on him, yeah. So I assume, like, for most tattoo artists, like, Instagram has kind of been like a godsend, just because
Yes.
you can just have your work out there,
Yeah.
and you can network with other tattoo artists and just get customers that way. What was like the Instagram before Instagram? Like, how would you get your? It was just a website, I guess.
So before that, it was all through. Well, I mean, whenever there was other things like MySpace or Facebook, things like that, obviously people used
Oh, yeah,
them,
it
but it
would be,
wasn't the same. It didn't have like the same impact as Instagram. But it was just getting in magazines and word of mouth, and you had to be really good,
Yeah.
which is, kind of different now. you had to be like really good, because otherwise, it's like I said, it's word of mouth. So people would have to get tattooed by you, know that you've done a good job, and then go and tell other people. Instagram is amazing in one way, and then also kind of gross in another way.
Oh, explain.
It's so good for this, but it's so easy to. I know certain people who just change their bio on Instagram to tattooist, and then they're just tattooing out of like their room or whatever, but they can't tattoo. They don't know any hygiene, anything at all.
Which is dangerous, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, potentially, but.
That's kind of like us putting
Yeah, it's
podcasters in our bio. We're not shit.
We've
but-
been paid for this, Michael. We are podcast. We're not doing it out of your kitchen anymore.
No, we're doing it in the
We're in
container.
a really
as we
fucking
said.
creepy container. So, like you said, word of mouth. So, like we talked about, oh fuck, you've been all over the place now. So, where's your favourite place in the world to tattoo, or where's just your favourite place in the world that you've visited?
God, I don't know. Where's my favourite place in the world? I really love going to Berlin to tattoo. Yeah, that's the first place I ever went outside the UK to tattoo.
What makes that special for you?
There's just a really nice atmosphere there. The shop I work at is called AKA, and it's beautiful. There's everybody in there is like super lovely. It's always chilled out. And Berlin's got really great food.
I've heard nothing.
That's where I would be in the place with the best food all the
Yeah.
I
time.
can't say a bad word about Germany.
I never heard
know, I
anyone.
like Germany.
Not
I've never
since,
been, but I wanna
not
go.
Oh,
since
God,
that.
you need to go to Berlin. Like, it's so good. I also love...
It must be nice because people have forgotten all about the war.
They've done a good job of putting it under the carpet. It's fine.
I was watching a program the other day, so it's just a tangent, and it's like this sort of Middle English couple, and they're talking to a German, and the wife goes, "That German guy was really nice," and then this husband just went, "Yeah, they kind of have to be nowadays." Sorry, carry on. But yeah, like because Mitch was talking about Berlin, Chuff's talked about Berlin,
Yeah.
Andy's talked about Germany. Yeah, it seems to
It's
be
lovely. It's
such
really
a popular
nice.
place
Yeah,
nowadays.
Yeah. Glasgow.
Oh,
Glasgow's the
good
one.
for everything.
I love Glasgow. I literally love it. And the shop I work there is called Timeless, and it's amazing. Again, everyone in there is like super friendly. I always have loads of fun when I go to Glasgow.
So how does it work? Because you were saying that you work out of a shop in Berlin. Do you just
Yeah.
have these places that? How do you get to work out of these shops? Do you just say, "Hey, I'm a tattooist, and here's the stuff can I have"? Do you have a free spot open?
Yeah,
or-
pretty much. Like I've been doing it for about I've been doing it for like 5 years now. So I always go to the same place.
Yeah.
You don't want to like hop about from shop to shop. So when you go to a city and you find a nice shop there, you generally like
Set up
stay
shop
there.
there, yeah.
You just message them, just say you can look at my work on Instagram,
Yeah.
and then just tell them what dates you want, and they usually say yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So it's
Sounds like so fucking cool.
What a
It's-
time to be alive.
I know.
But like, so
It's-
we were talking about this in the drive over. I can't draw. Like, I just can't. So like, the draw on someone's skin would take mythical-sized cojones.
Well, then I was
Yes.
saying as well that it's actually all right
Yeah.
because the needle's got like a grip, so it kind of like guides. I'm not saying it's easy, but
Yeah.
but once you get the hang of it, like it's almost like it's like. So what you're drawing with is stuck in something, so it kind of has to
Guides
go
you
along the
around,
line. I mean,
yeah.
it can still go wrong, but
It's a very
That's the
unforgiving
theory, yeah.
business, though. If you
Yeah.
do get it wrong and you get
Oh,
it badly
yeah.
wrong, it's so unforgiving. Like,
Yeah.
what can you do? Like, if you made it, I know you probably haven't made a bad mistake, but like, how do folk like blag it if they do make like a bad mistake? Do you know, like
have
thick
once.
lines and stuff like that?
Can you talk about it?
I have one.
Is the lawsuit still pending? Or
I'd only been tattooing for about a month. So after my apprenticeship in London, I moved back to Scotland briefly, and I shouldn't really have been going into shops as a tattooist. I should have done my apprenticeship for longer. But I basically just went around and kind of blagged it until somewhere would take me, and I got into this shop and I tattooed a full paragraph on a guy's arm, and I was weirdly talking to him about people messing it up. And the stencil had come off. This is like the worst nightmare ever. If your stencil comes off when you're doing a paragraph of writing, you're totally screwed. So I can't remember exactly what it was. I put like 3 E's in something or something.
oh my goodness.
This is awful. I don't think I've ever confessed this before, but it was ages ago, so it's fine.
We can beep, let us know and we can beep
we
bits
can
out
beep
if
stuff out.
necessary.
You were writing the word mom, you put 3 E's in it, and what happened?
I put 3 E's in one of the words, and I didn't notice until it was the end. And so but it was like really crammed and small as well. So you can't fix it. So I did the whole thing, and then I cleaned it. And whilst I was cleaning it, I was like,
Oh shit.
"Oh my god!"
God.
And
I can literally feel my own arse drop out right now.
Yeah, me
I
too.
didn't tell him.
Yes!
Whereabouts was it on his body?
On his forearm.
But why wouldn't he know?
Well, I said, "Do you want to go and have a look in the mirror?" And he went and had a look in the mirror, and I was sitting there like, and he went, "That's great."
Is that like when you get a
Oh
bad
my
haircut, it's too
goodness.
awkward to say at the
Well,
barber,
I
the
did,
fucked
yeah,
up.
I feel like you'd. If they'd notice, I feel like they would say.
No, I think
I
yes.
would,
I
if
feel
it was
like-
me, I
yeah.
would have said, I'd been like, that's spelled wrong. I would have been watching as you were doing it, spell checking the
Yeah.
whole
I
way.
know,
like,
Well, see, that's the thing. If you're writing is scary to do on someone, even if you know it's all spelt correctly. Whilst you're tattooing it, you're going. Like when words don't look like words.
You look at him
anymore.
for too long.
Yeah. So you always say to who's getting it, can you double check the spelling? Because then it's their fault. If anything goes wrong at all, you're like, you double checked it, you looked at the spelling, you're happy with it. So
Plus,
it's
people
okay,
may
so-
want something
would
spelled
definitely
incorrect. It
over-
may be
Well,
an inside
yeah.
joke. You never know.
Yeah,
That's a
well,
good
yeah,
idea.
exactly,
Like,
yeah.
You fix this shit and just
Yeah,
give it to me when it's done. All right,
my
don't let me know.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Wow. See, I was getting all hyped up. I was like, you know what? I want to get my tattoo. I'm going to make 2019 the year. And now I'm just kind of like, oh, shit. I don't know if I want to do that now.
I
you
actually,
should get awards with dots.
No, I don't know what I want. I want to get Staten Island on my forearm. I want to get the outline of Staten Island on my forearm.
So you
But
can't really go wrong.
you can't. No, you can't. Except for putting Staten Island on my forearm because it's a horrible place.
I sent Fidget a copy of the Maurice picture that we got.
You getting it done?
I might do actually.
There you go.
Yeah, but I don't know where.
On your other ribs.
We should all get a little MSF on us somewhere. Right somewhere. You don't have any tats, do you, Andy?
Nah.
No.
Yeah, of course.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll get it on my ribs. We'll sort that out. Take that offline. Patreon. Nah. So how long in total have you been tattooing then?
About 5-6 years.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I've been tattooing for much
Feels
longer.
like long.
How many tattoos in total, ballpark, do you think you've done? Even the small little ones.
I have no idea.
Estimate, nothing.
I have no idea. Literally no idea. A lot. The only ones I know how many sort of that I've done are the. I don't know if you've looked at the Drowning Girls. So that's a club that I've got called the Drowning Girl Club.
Okay.
And I'm just about to do the 2000th one of them.
I was
Oh.
just about to comment on that because you mentioned that and it's all over your Instagram. So for the sake of those who don't know, explain the Drowning Girl Club.
So the Drowning Girl is a little lady's head that's like half submerged in water. And it started as a painting. I was doing like a little series of female authors who'd committed suicide, and I was doing little paintings of their different suicides. And I did Virginia Woolf, and it was like her full body with rocks in her pockets, and then the half body submerged in water, and then just her tiny wee head. And then I don't know what happened. There was just like a really happy, lovely accident. One person came and got it tattooed one week, and then the next week 2 people wanted to get it, and then the week after that like 5 people wanted to get it. And then it started being so many people wanted to come get this little head that I called it a series and a club. And then it's just totally taken off from there. And a lot of people, it's mad. It's like it's so nice. It's like a little logo almost, but like so many people have got it done for.
I love the fact you've called it a club because instantly people who
That's
are into
it.
go, oh, I want to be in
Exactly.
that. I want to be a
Yeah,
part
well,
of that.
and
Yeah,
it's nice as well
totally.
because a lot of people get it done for. A lot of people get it done to like commemorate quite serious things. I do a lot of work with women with sexual assault and domestic abuse and mental health, and so a lot of people come and get them done for those kind of reasons, like for things like that. So they get it done and it's like, you know, if you have it done, you're part of the little club, and like it's like a united front, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's got these little things to
Well, that's- again, it's a
symbolize
club,
something
so I mean,
like that
it's
for,
like-
for themselves. Yeah, but they're all like together doing it, which is really nice. Yeah, it's really cool. I love it.
Because I didn't mean to touch on as well. You've done some work with. Sorry, I've totally forgotten. Was it Miss M?
Miss M, yeah.
Miss M, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I don't know if you want to touch briefly on it. If you want to talk
Yeah,
about it.
totally,
Go for it.
yeah.
So this was a massive win after a long
It was
battle.
a historical win, yeah.
So talk us through what happened.
Yeah, so she had a criminal court case with her rapist, which he was found not proven in. So her campaign just now is to end not proven, so that Scotland's the only place, I think, in the EU that you can give a not proven verdict, and it doesn't really mean anything. It's like a sit on the fence answer to guilty or not guilty, and a lot of people on juries have said that they felt like the person was guilty, but they felt like they couldn't fully commit to saying he's guilty, but they didn't want to upset the accuser either, so they didn't go with not guilty. So they've gone with, it's like cop out. So they've gone with not proven. So they've just like, they can just throw that in. But it's mostly used in rape cases. 'Cause it's such a difficult thing. So it's mostly used in that. So, you know, it's basically people don't have to really say either way. So she lost her criminal case on a not proven verdict, but then she sued him and took him to civil court. She's the first person in Scotland to have done that. So she took him to civil court and she won. She got a guilty verdict, and so it's like it's a historical case. But she's now working after that. She's now working to end the not proven verdict, and she's making a lot of changes.
Good.
She's
Excellent.
pretty powerful. Like
You-
she's doing a
you
lot of
just
stuff.
put something up on your Instagram today about you're
Yeah.
doing is it guest spots you're doing with the sort of money going towards the cases? And
Yeah, so I'm going to do 2 different flash days. So it's going to be Drowning Girl flash days, so people can come and get a Drowning Girl, like, you know, 50 quid for a Drowning Girl or whatever. I've done a couple of them before, and they've always been really good. But it's 2. So I'm going to do one in Glasgow that's like to raise awareness for the End Not Proven campaign, and then whatever money I make from it will go to Rape Crisis in Glasgow as well.
that's fucking awesome.
But yeah, it's going to be like a flash day, but I'm going to make, we're going to be selling stuff there as well, for, you know, to raise awareness for her.
Okay,
Cause.
well, we'll send us the dates on. We'll
Yeah,
happy to
yeah,
share it
we'll
as
do
well.
that. Yeah,
Your
yeah,
Instagram
yeah, we'll
following
do-
is
yeah,
much
definitely.
bigger than ours, but still.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that right now. I'm going to follow as well at your 42,000 followers. There you go.
Thanks.
So let's move on. So let's say so about 5 years tattooing.
Yeah.
Let's get into some of the silly stuff. So have you ever tattooed any famous people?
No.
No.
No, I haven't.
Perhaps Premier podcaster, but whatever.
Oh.
I was in a PA.
I have watched famous people get tattooed, but I've never been the one tattooing them.
Most famous person you've watched be tattooed?
Keith Flint from The Prodigy
Nice.
and Kanye West.
Kanye West.
Really?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Was he real weird or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
What did he get?
Penis
He got
fucking
I want that, yo. I want that penis.
There's a great
On my
tattoo
back, yo.
time.
he got the front cover of one of his albums tattooed.
Fucking
Which one,
arsehole.
though? Because
No
there is a
way.
really, really, really good cover that I like.
I think that the guy who tattooed it designed it. It's like an M. Is it an M? It looks like a word in Old English in a circle. I think.
Okay. Oh, I think I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has one on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. We had like 5 different covers, and there's one of like a head that's been severed and a crown on it with like a sword through it. I love it. I wish I want to get that on my canvas.
No,
and
it
put
wasn't.
that
It
in my
wasn't
house.
as
That would be
cool as
pretty
that.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like this size. It was like a little floppy one. But it was really weird because everyone else in the shop got rushed out because his people had said that there wasn't allowed to be anybody there. But I had someone in getting tattooed, so the boss let me stay. But there was like a physical line drawn on the floor where I wasn't allowed to cross.
No.
Can you
So I
imagine
had
you?
to stay over there with my client whilst he was over there. And I didn't know whether to say to who I was tattooing or not, so I didn't say anything. But they had a break halfway through and sat up and to have a drink of water and looked over and just saw Kanye West sitting on
Why
the
is
sofa.
Kanye West getting a fox holding a dick on his back? Just lay down. You're hallucinating. It's fine.
But it was really weird. He had obviously had an entourage and everything, but they kept bringing stuff into the shop. So they brought in like a load of samples, like music samples, to show him, and he got them all played to him whilst he was sitting there. And then someone brought a barber chair downstairs, and they gave him a hot shave and a haircut.
Man.
That's some silly money, eh?
That's what you do, though.
So, what are you doing? Get a haircut. Where are you going? Wherever the fuck I want.
That's what I was like.
Hey, can I
why
get
is
this barber
happening
chair down here? I guess. I mean, we've never done it before.
Yeah, then there's plenty of these barbers and tattoo artists that just fly all over the world tattooing all the football
you
players and
you go
actors.
to them
And
usually,
you just go to
yeah.
them.
It was
Fucking hell.
surreal, yeah.
That's the kind of money I want to have, where I can just, I just pitch up in Asda as they bring me my barber chair.
Yeah.
This is where it's going down.
Bring me that barber chair, yo.
That was the same weekend that he went into KFC in Dalston. Did you hear about that? And
I
he
remember
stood
he
on
was-
the tables in KFC shouting at everybody, "Get a picture!"
Oh.
That was the same. That was like just after that happened.
Can we put him back on the cunt pile just for
Yeah,
that story?
he's in this. week,
Kanye
just-
West goes straight on the top of the Tom Brady cunt pile. There you go.
Yeah, that's
Right, so,
terrible, baby.
right, other than that, so Keith Flint, I imagine, was just the nicest guy in the world.
He is absolutely lovely. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, like literally such a gentleman. He, I sat and chatted with him. I mean, I ended up becoming friends with him because Philip tattoos him, and he literally just the sweetest guy. The first time that I spoke to him, his appointment was running slightly late, so I was sitting at the table chatting away to him. He was just telling me all about his dogs and stuff, and we were talking about snuff because he asked. I can't remember why, but he asked if I liked snuff. And then the second time he came in to get tattooed, he brought me like a little box of snuff.
Oh,
He's literally that nice. Yeah, yeah.
Would- I don't know, like I've not met many people that I would consider to be famous in my life. Like people here and there, but like never anyone like super. But like, I imagine if Keith Flint walked into the same room as me, I would I would have
honestly,
walked in. I would have pissed myself.
Yeah. I mean, since we were like
We would have
11
been
or
listening.
12 or
Yeah.
whatever. I actually remember seeing him for the first time. I remember listening to them for the first time. I went to see them when I was 15. It was like mega surreal, and he had a huge presence. Like to see it, but he was like really modest about it. I remember him saying that he had got a taxi, and the guy in the taxi was like, "You look really like that guy from The Prodigy." And he was just sat at the back of the taxi like, "Oh, right." And he was just like, "Oh, do I?" And he's like, "Yeah, you look really like that." He's mad him, and he's like, he's totally texy. He's got crazy hair and everything, and he was just sitting there like, "Oh, right." So he didn't say anything. Like he's not like running about telling.
Yeah, it's a
everyone, or he
stage
doesn't have
persona,
to.
yeah.
He was really lovely. Whereas I see the presence thing, like meeting a famous person who's got presence. He had bucket loads of it. Kanye West had none, and I'm not just saying that because I really don't like Kanye West. I've seen other famous people. It's weird it's weird when you move from Perth to London and suddenly you see like little famous folk flopped about all over the place. They have presence, like they've got this thing about them because they're famous. So whether you like them or not, you can't kind of help but be a little bit like, "Oh my God, that's them."
Do we put that on them, or do you think that's just genuinely them? Because I've heard that about Madonna. Like that's how Madonna got
Honestly, I
on.
think
She was
it's-
walking in New York, and they were like, "Holy shit!" who's that?"
I think it depends.
I think it depends because I went to see Oasis and Liam Gallagher has got fucking like.
I thought you were going to
swagged
say you
out.
had none. I was
No,
going
I
to
was
say,
like,
what?
that man's got stage presence coming out his
Yes.
eyeballs. Like
Yeah.
there was one point of the gig I went to see, he stood there with his tambourine, like with the folded part, just sat on the top of his head with his arms out like that, like a sort of Messiah looking thing, and the whole crowd just went fucking bananas for this guy with a tambourine on his head.
It's mad. It's absolutely mad. But I think that I think it's both. I think some people have the thing.
Yeah.
Some people then also become a parody of themselves, so
Yeah.
that presence and what it is that people.
I imagine
associate
Kanye
with them
probably
becomes
had it a
ultimately
few
their
years ago.
downfall.
There was just nothing. I
But
don't know.
suppose
You know that.
if it's
like,
not for you, like I'd be the same. If the lead singer for Snow Patrol sat next to me at McDonald's, I would have I'd just fling his chips away from him or something. You know what I mean? I wouldn't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? But I suppose it depends if you hold that person in any sort of regard.
Yeah. I saw the lead singer of Primal Scream.
Bobby Gillespie.
Bobby Gillespie, yeah, and I was like, well, I didn't say it, he just walked past me, but I remember being like, oh my god, but I can't. I mean, like.
Well, as I was saying, I went to a Celtic game and one of the famous Celtic players, a guy called Danny McGrain, walked into the lounge that we were in, me and my pal, and I had to get my mate to go and speak to him because I was like fucking. And this guy's like, he's only about 5'9", and he was about in his 60s at this point. So he was like an older guy, and I was like, it's fucking Danny McGrain.
Yeah, sometimes it's too much.
So what would you then say? So not famous people. What is the your favourite tattoo you've ever done outside of the Drowning Girl Club?
Well, yeah, I was going to say I do genuinely love doing all the Drowning Girls. Probably Sylvia Plath with her head in the oven.
Is that on your Instagram page?
Yeah, it's on there. Yeah.
Mike's just going to be going through it, just looking confused.
I know. I was kind of scrolling before, and I was just kind of like, "Oh, shit, I got a podcast to do."
It's quite far down now, but it is on there. It is on there.
And what about the favourite tattoo you have on yourself as well?
My chin.
I was from this moment. I was like, that's awesome.
It's definitely my favourite.
See, I wouldn't have the balls to do anything like that.
Me neither.
I always liked the idea of getting something on my hands, but then I just couldn't do it.
I really want more similar ones, but I don't want to upset my mum, and I just can't. I can't. Like I know, like a lot of other tattooists are like, what does that even mean? They're like, who cares? She'll get over it or whatever. But I know it would upset her, and I.
Well, you did just tell me that before we got here. He was like, I don't swear. She's like, I don't swear in front of my mum. So I'm going to try. I don't know if I'm going to swear on the podcast because my mum will listen.
Oh.
I love my mum. I don't want to offend my mum or get
That's
like
a great quality to have.
She's not like I mean, she doesn't really care, but she's really funny about it because you know my mum. She's not like she's not.
No, she's not uptight at all.
She's
No,
not uptight in the slightest. Not. I mean, some of the stuff we were talking about this earlier. Actually, we were talking about being teenagers, and some of the things that because my dad, out of my mum and dad, my dad is the slightly more. Again, he's like super liberal. We've pretty much been allowed to do whatever we want growing up, but he would be slightly stricter. And then he used to go away with his job sometimes for quite a while at a time. And there was one summer in particular that is like my favourite summer ever. But there was one summer in particular where he went away, and it's only now that he's hearing about some things because we were like, oh, can't say that. My mum used to drive. I don't know if I should say this.
Dude, say it.
My mum used to drive around with our friends on the roof of the car and stuff. And she went into the police station in Perth to do donut spins with Mark on the roof of the car a load of times and everything. And she let us drive through to Edinburgh sitting up on the top of the car. And
what?
And like sometimes our house was just like one of those mad houses that was just full of crazy boys. They were doing ridiculous stuff all the time. She locked Mark out of. Because we used to live upstairs from where we live now, and there was like 3 windows, and Mark had gone out and was in the middle window on the outside of the building, and we locked him out, and my mum just came through and was just like, and then just left. There was like loads of stuff that now she's like, why did I let you all do things like that? But I'm like, it was great.
because you're fucking
It
sound.
was great, yeah. Don't be worried about that. But harmless, jumping out of moving cars, never harmed anybody.
There was a video once of me on YouTube in a queue to Leeds Festival, sitting on the bonnet of the car drinking a bottle of Buckfast and just getting driven along at 30 mile an hour while the queue was moving. Those were the days.
I used to love doing that. Not with the Buckfast, but with the sitting on the car. It was fun.
Awesome. Right, well, I think we've chatted quite a while, so if you're happy to, we'll carry on and talk some shit for another little while.
Yeah.
Maybe jump into some of our usual features.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that now? Or do you want to go into news? We've got some news.
No, we've got a couple of things that we can talk about before that, I think.
Okay, I've been reading all of our good friend Mike was
Thorough notes.
Thorough, yeah. Actually, yeah, I'm looking forward to this because you gave us a breakdown of your last day out. So how about you tell us about your trip down south?
Oh, yeah. I went to Southampton. Well, I was at Portsmouth, but through Southampton for work. It was in Edinburgh Airport, and I'm an experienced flyer. Like I've flown quite a bit in my time, just going back and forth to New York and everything. And for some reason, I don't know why, I left my keys in my pocket, and I was going through security, and it beeped, of course, and the lady was like right over there. Didn't even look at me. It was like right over there, because you know how great airport security are.
People.
And I felt violated by this young man in security. Like there was a bunch of German kids that were behind me, and they some of them were through security already. And then when I pulled my keys out as I walked through, I was like, oh, I had my keys in my pocket. That's why it went off. He was like, spread your arms. I was like, all right, cool. Spread my arms. He like put his hands down my pants, like down like around like the rim of my underwear, and grazed my ass crack. He grazed the top of my ass crack. And I was like, oh my God. And then it was funny because there was like a German kid who was like 16 or 17 years old to my left. And I was like, oh God. And I looked over at him and I was like, help me. Okay. And he was laughing. And I was like, wow, this is so weird. Like, I just like walked away. And I was like, I don't know how to feel right now.
Is that episode in Friends where Joey's trying to tell them that's
The
just
tailor. Yeah.
That's how they measure pants.
Bottom line, I kind of liked it. That's
I
what it
literally
is.
had the same experience at an airport once with a woman doing that, but like
It's crazy.
I mean, everywhere they touch like everywhere.
And I understand
And
they
don't
have
tell,
to.
Yeah, but it was new. I've been frisked at an airport many a
too.
time,
Yeah.
and they've never touched my boobs or my bum. And then suddenly she was, and I was genuinely standing there like, oh right, oh.
I usually just
We're
get
obviously
racially-
the new face of terrorism, you and I.
I was gonna say, I usually just get racially profiled, especially if I've got a tan and this beard's kind of thickened up. People just assume,
Yeah.
and I'm like, so
Oh, you ain't that tan. Get out of here.
I'm telling you. But right, so carry on. Apart from getting to second base with a
Yeah, so the guy next to me, we were on this tiny Flybe flight. It was two on each side, two seats
no
on
with the wee
each side.
propellers on the
Yeah,
way.
it had propellers right by the propellers. I was
them.
like, shit. I hate them too. And then the guy sits down next to me, and he's got BO. Immediately sits down. I was like, oh God, it's gonna be the longest hour and a half of my life. So then, eventually, like we're about maybe like 20 minutes from landing, and he sees that I'm on my phone, and I'm like, must have had a page up before I put it into flight mode. It was basketball. So he starts talking to me about
It
basketball.
was fucking Pornhub.
So he starts talking to me about porn. Yeah, no. So we started talking about basketball, and it was a French guy, and he's like, and we start talking back and forth, and I was like, oh, all right, this guy's pretty cool, despite the smell, and he was like, oh, we got stuck on a question about who was like in the leaderboard or something like that, and he's like, oh, I'll just turn my phone on, and I was like, oh, I don't know, you're supposed to do that on planes, maybe you're supposed to leave them off, and he was like, don't worry, I am a French scientist, and if when you turn your phones on, it has nothing to do with the equipment in the cockpit. It has nothing to do. And I was like, oh, all right, cool. So he turns his phone on, turns it off, flight mode, boom! The fucking plane hits the ground. And I'm like, oh my God, we're dying! I start screaming and everything. He's like, no, it's fine. We're just landing. I was like, oh shit. So then, then we were in, got to Portsmouth, get to the hotel, didn't have a room, of course.
nice.
So I had to got one of these like accessible rooms. So it was at like the kind of the wheel-in. Oh shit, the
Good
wheel-in,
hands, by the way.
the wheel-in showers and everything. It was really nice though. We did one of those escape rooms. You ever do that for
Never
team
done one. I've
building?
always wanted to do one.
Escape rooms.
Yeah.
No, what are they?
So it's like the one that we did. It's basically you go in there and you have to crack a bunch of codes and shit like that in order to.
In
Crystal
where?
Maze
You
kinda
go in
thing.
where? Oh,
So,
like a
yeah, it was just like
designated
it was
area.
weird. It was kind of like just a dingy old building, and it had like padlocks on the outside. We didn't know if anybody was in there. Kind of like this place. So we go in there, and it's basically they give you a story, and then you have to go in and go through all the clues and crack the case. So the one that we had was a bar. We went to the bar, and people had been dying in the bar because they've been drinking poisoned beer. And we had to figure out why it was getting poisoned and who was doing it. And he gave us a whole backstory. And it was really fun. Like, there were false walls and shit. And there were things that you had to push in. And things would jump out at you. And there were keys hidden under, like, fake sick in the room. And there was, like, posters all over the place. And you had to find the one that was giving you the clues for what you had to do next. It was really good. I think we should do, like, a monkey sword fight.
That sounds brilliant.
I've always wanted to do one, man. It
man.
sounds like we call it. I went and seen
That
that
sounds
film
DOS.
Escape Room not that long ago. That was DOS.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty good.
What would you rate that out of 10 bananas,
Ooh.
Mike?
Oh,
for that day out experience.
It was. I'd give it a 6, but no, I'm sorry. I give it a 7, just because there was at one point where we kind of finished the whole thing, and he was like, "Oh no," he was on the mic. He was like, "Oh no, close that. You're not supposed to be in there yet." And I was like, Okay. And then we ended up like there were guitars hanging on the wall and there was letters on them and there was a certain way where you had to make out a sentence or a word based on something that you found earlier. Like they gave you a pattern earlier. But we just kind of skipped over that and we kind of figured it out. And I was like, oh, I kind of wanted to do that. I wanted this to take a bit longer. But it was good. It was still good. I had a good time.
Solid 7 out of 10.
Solid 7 out of 10. Also went to the Glenturret Distillery the other day. That was pretty good. I got to make my own whiskey.
How'd that go?
It went well. I drank it last night. Got drunk.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's always good.
Might get loose.
You got to make your own whiskey.
Yeah. Well,
What did you call it?
we called it Sienna after my 2 daughters.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it sounds
Seems
kind of
pretty
Scottish too,
It does
right?
actually.
It
yeah.
does.
Sienna.
Get your finest drama, Sienna.
That was actually not bad, Michael. Well
Yeah,
done.
there you go. I mean, we went to the warehouse, right? Oh, what's going
No,
on?
it was.
Yeah, it
Actually. It
wasn't
sounded
that
really
good.
shitty, but I was being actually quite
I've
genuine.
heard better
Oh,
ones
all
from you,
right.
mate. I was disappointed.
Oh shit! Sorry.
I'm joking.
They have a warehouse, but there was no like cameras or anything outside of it where they keep like all of this like super expensive whiskey. So if you want to go rob it like they did back in the day, go ahead. But we went in there and they have like these 4 little barrels lined up where you can get your taste of it, and I was totally trashed afterwards. But
She
it
started
You
was,
weren't standing there like pouring cokes and that. in there.
No, but it was just
the
funny.
wifey in the gift shop. I was like, what the fuck are you looking at?
it was just funny because we go in there and it was freezing in there and it was super dark. And this guy's going on and on about the whiskey, and it's like I just don't remember anything after the second one. Like I took 2 drams and I was just kind of like, well, I'm warm now. That's cool. I don't
This
really
is
need
lovely.
to. Yeah. I was like, let's just get to the 3rd and 4th one. But it was a really good time. The tour guide was super knowledgeable. His name was Jamie. I follow him on Instagram now. Jamie's Whiskey.
Jamie.
Jamie.
Jamie's Whiskies.
And highly recommend. That gets a 9 because I got drunk.
Nice.
So yeah, that was really good.
Fair play to you. Anything else?
That's all I got.
That's what you've been doing this week?
Oh, I do have the J-Lo thing. You see this thing with J-Lo?
No.
Well, now she's married to Alex Rodriguez. Well, getting married to Alex Rodriguez.
that-
And she said,
A-Rod.
A-Rod, yes. And she said men aren't worth dating until they're 33 years old.
Yep.
Hey! And me and Connie were talking about it. I was like, you know what? That's probably true. I was useless.
Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah, to be quite honest, yeah, I probably was. I'm
It's totally a thing.
It is a thing.
Not every guy.
Most
but
guys.
Most guys. It's a thing.
We make
definitely.
poor decisions up until our
Yeah.
30s, I would say.
Speak for yourselves, boys.
I mean, I've never dated a man, but
Lies, but go ahead.
no, I've never dated. I said never dated one.
Oh, hey! No, I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not going to go there. Not going to go there.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's ask a female. Fidjit?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
I agree. Yeah, it's a thing. Your brains haven't caught up with ours by then.
That's probably fair.
You want different things. You're more immature. It's just a fact.
Does that mean I'm going to hit 33 and stop being immature? Because I'm not down with that. Like,
Nah.
I don't want to stop laughing at
I
fart
don't
jokes.
think that we stop being immature at that age. We kind of
You ju-
reserve it for different spaces.
We get a handle
you're
on
doing
it.
A bit, you're just a little bit slower.
Yes.
Just going a little bit slower.
Yeah.
That's why something that I've always found weird is an age gap. So like an age gap with a man and a woman, an older man and a younger woman totally makes sense to me.
Yeah.
An older woman and a younger guy makes no sense to me at all.
It's going to be frustrating for her.
I just don't get.
There's there's only probably one reason. Stamina,
Oh, yeah.
basically.
There's some
Yeah,
good
like-
milfs out there. There are some good
Stamina.
ones. There are some good ones.
Andy Mack. Coming through your live.
Also,
Well, no, I'm kind of looking at like what you're saying there now, and I think it's like, I don't know, I'm more mature at 35 than I was at 25.
45.
45.
45.
Yeah.
Oh, so your 30s are out for you.
No, but if we're going to be like really realistic, a
Yeah.
lot of guys probably mature.
35, I think is all right.
You always think like back in the day, like your mum and dad turning 40, and it's like that's them getting old now. Like
Yeah.
these
Oh,
days,
it's
that's
not
like you're just
anymore,
you're
no.
just getting
That's
started
right,
at that
that's
point. You know what I mean?
20s are the new teenage years.
Well, see, my mum and dad were like, so they had me, well, they had Paul, me, and then my wee sister. And then obviously you're looking after your kids pretty much right up until they're in their 20s odd anyway. Do you know what I mean? And then that's when they really start like laying them shit down themselves. Do you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
but by that point they had me when Paul was younger, and me when they were about 27, and Julie when they were 28. So then that's like the next 20 years of their life looking after us, and then you've got a couple of years of getting yourself together financially. Nowadays, they're off all the fucking time and just having a great time. Like,
Man, my
they're like,
parents.
what did you do during the weekends? I was in my bed by 9 o'clock. I watched a Netflix documentary. What did you do? We were at till 2 a.m, steaming drunk. Your mum got in a scrap and your dad chinned a priest. Fucking, all right, Pats.
Sell Mama Pats.
Papa Pats.
Do you know what I mean? But that's you're right. It's different now. I think because people obviously are living longer and they're
It's
healthier.
yeah,
and-
like my mum had my brother when she was 17 and she had me when she was 21. My dad's 9 years older than her. And now when I think about, I always think that I always get kind of annoyed about it because I feel like I should be married and have children by now because I'm 28. And to me, I'm always like, I feel really old, and I also feel like if it hasn't happened, if I'm not married by the time I'm 30, I'm just not going to get married.
Well, it's
That's the
different.
way that I'm going.
but
It's,
you don't
it's fucking written in the stars, mate.
But you don't
Like,
have to even stop it there, though.
For all other people, I'm like, yeah, why would that even be a thing? But for some reason, with myself, it's
Yeah.
different. I'm like,
I think as well, it depends because it can all come around so fucking quickly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I know, like I've seen it all the time. Like folk I've not seen for ages, and like
Yeah.
1 minute they've got a photo of themselves out getting absolutely smashed drunk at the weekend, and then like 3 months later they'll pop up
6
on
kids.
pop up on, they pop up on Instagram and they're doing really nice hill walks with their significant
Yeah.
other, like
Yeah.
hashtag love you. And I'm like, press you. I seen you eat chips off the flare just 3 months earlier. No naming names.
I don't think that you have to be to a certain age to get married.
think
I
it's-
just think when it happens, you'll know. And then
I do totally agree
Yeah.
for everyone else except me.
I think as
you'll
well.
be getting your vows tattooed
yeah.
on your forearm. There you
I think
go.
it's something that's. I think it's
Spelled correctly, hopefully.
to Murray you. Is it 4 hours? But like, I think it's something that's changing in the like sort of the views of people. Like especially now, and it's still obviously going out there. But like there was up until even recently, it was commonplace for a woman in her mid to late 20s to at least have a kid and be
Yes,
engaged.
exactly.
And it's not so much the norm now, and
No.
people aren't as bothered by it. But there's
No.
still that
There
not
is still
niggling thing.
It's
Yeah.
still like hanging there,
Yeah.
but it's not always done.
Like the thing is, the world's so much more open now as well. Like you see people like, especially women in higher jobs and that now aren't wanting to take the time off to have kids
No.
because they've
Yeah,
fucking worked
yeah,
their arse off to
yeah.
get where they are. So why the fuck should they have to?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I can see what you mean though. Like, I got married far too young.
Well, I think I just always wanted to do that because my parents
Mm-hmm.
have it so good, and they like my mum was so young when she had children. But then so she was 17 when she had my brother. But when I got to 17, younger, maybe I was thinking I'll have a child and be married when I'm 17 or whatever. But when I got there, I'm like,
I'm not ready
I'm
for
17.
I am not having a
Yeah, I
child.
was like,
17.
I was like,
No.
well, I was 19 when Riley was born. And like at the time, it was just a case of, well, you've just got to fucking pull your shit together.
Yeah.
But now, when like speaking to people I know that are 19, I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you are in no way ready to
there's
have a child.
Exceptional circumstances, like it works for some people and it doesn't work for other people.
Oh, dear, scary biscuits. Oh. I think I'd be like, I'm going to be, if I have a daughter, I'm going to be a terrible, terrible dad.
Listen, if I can get through 10 years, you'll.
But you're
be
not,
all right.
you've not even got to the bit that's the scary bit for me was when they start bringing boys home.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they ever bring a boy home, though? I'm dead serious. Why do you have to bring.
I'm really, really hoping that we're still doing this podcast when Mike's daughters get to the age where they're bringing boys home to meet you.
Just hope like prom night, Ken, like 6th year, that kind of thing.
I
'Cause,
imagine
they
you'd
get
be
to
like,
that age, Mike.
imagine you be like ice
15,
skate, like
16.
No,
what's
you guys are
going
going to
down,
have to
man.
fucking get in the gym and get ripped up so we can do the bad boys thing.
Yeah, I was
where
gonna
we,
say.
where we
Me
scare the shit out of the guy
me
that
and Paul
comes.
have always talked like that. Like, have you ever seen the Bad Boys scene where Will Smith and Martin Lawrence
Yeah,
go to the
yeah,
door?
yeah.
Me and Paul have often talked about
Yeah.
doing that. I don't know if I'll be able to handle it.
Now, you can't like push them away because when you push it away and say, "Oh, I don't want any boys around," that's when they start sneaking off and doing stuff. So
You
have
don't
to
want them
be-
doing stuff in secret.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I certainly don't want it in my home.
Well, yeah.
But you want to be an understanding.
Doors
dad.
open
Yeah.
at all times.
Yes. Go hang out and study and make sure that that door's open.
Well, that doesn't sound bra, Mike.
No, it's not.
You know what it might be?
Is Braw or Naw? Does that sound bra?
Braw or Naw. Braw or Naw. Braw or Naw.
Do we have the list up?
I think we'll get it up. So I don't know, Fidjit, you've listened to the show? Have you listened to Braw or Naw before?
Yeah, I don't remember what that is.
So basically, we asked. This is the bit where we get our listeners to give us content.
Oh, okay.
So we asked them a question, to get into us where they're things that are maybe dividing opinion. So whether things are braw or if they are not.
I understand.
If they are braw, they go into the brawl of fame. If they are no, they go straight in the no bin.
Can I just take the chance to say, nice job, Mike, on that little
Image.
graphic video there as well.
Oh yeah, you like that.
That was nice.
You like that, yeah?
That was nice.
Can that be the official Braw or Naw video for all posts?
Of course it can.
The videos
Yeah,
get a
go
lot
for
of
it.
engagement on social media.
Go for it, man.
Yeah.
Digital marketing training is kicking in after fucking 5 years in my job. All right, so
I've got the first one up here. Shout out to Nate Black,
Nate.
vegan jiu-jitsu master.
Nate and I have been talking today. Hope you're feeling all right, buddy.
Oh, he's had some
You'll know what I'm talking about. You'll know what I'm talking about.
bad lucks on the bookies, eh?
Oh, the fuck no, I wasn't talking about that, no.
Oh.
But obviously I can't go into it.
it'll
But
be. We'll put it in the.
It might have been in the
afties.
preamble earlier. I can't remember, but yeah. Well, he's a sub, so maybe I'll talk about it later. But
Oh, soon.
yeah, he's been having a bad time gambling
Okay, so
too.
Nate Black shouted out. So, Deliveroo. Don't know if it's been covered before. Braw, because it's a way for people to earn some money. But I could never bring myself to be the reason for someone tearing about the town on a bike just so I can get a takeaway.
It's a no from me,
Why is that?
Pourquoi?
Son.
because like it's KFC. What the fuck do you want a KFC delivered for? How lazy have you got to be and need to get KFC
It might be
delivered?
far
man?
away.
Not everyone lives as close as we do to KFC, so we may
No.
not.
But like, if you're going to get takeaway, why would you get a KFC?
Certainly not. No.
Chips are always shite. It'd be freezing by the time the wee guy's turned up on his wee push bike wet.
I imagine KFC Deliveroo in London is probably a little bit better than it would be
Yeah,
here.
yeah. I mean,
More options.
you can
and-
get everything.
Yeah.
However,
Okay.
I do use Deliveroo sometimes, but I may verge more on the Naw side as well
Okay.
because it frightens me.
Why is that?
Because how do you know that they've not like put their fingers in your food and stuff?
I suppose that's just the trust you've got to try and put in people.
No.
They don't work for the restaurant.
True.
They're independent people, right? So who knows what they've done? They
That's
could do
fair.
literally anything to it in the time between there and here.
Yeah, they kind of do work for the restaurant, though. I mean, they get I assume they get some type of money from. They don't get money just from the person they're delivering to, right? They get it from all the restaurants. They must chip in a bit,
I'm
and then
assuming-
Deliveroo pays them.
I'm assuming the reason why there's fuck all on Deliveroo in compared to Just Eat is for
Oh,
that
God.
reason, is that there's a third party involved. So
Yes.
Deliveroo are taking the cut like Just Eat would, but then they also need to pay the salaries of the guys who are going out to actually deliver it.
Yes.
I'll say as well as I've noticed this is how
why
much
there's
I eat
nothing on
takeaways. As you can tell.
Chunky Poys.
Chunky Poys, bruh. A lot of the places in Perth now are making their own apps.
Yeah, I've noticed
Like,
that
there's
as
been
well.
a couple of places that are like, you go in and they're like, oh, this is our new app, don't use Just Eat anymore. So these companies are obviously taking a bit too much off the top. So they've decided they can save a bit of cash money by going, cutting out the middleman, so to speak. I'm going to say, bro, it's somebody earning some money, somebody hustling. So it's a bra for me. Plus, anybody that brings me food is fucking up there on my.
What if they've put poison in it?
Well, then I probably won't notice because I'll have eaten
I'll
it
be
too
dead
quickly. Yeah.
after I've eaten.
Oh, at least as long as I'm full. If it's a quick acting poison, I'm not that bothered. I don't want to go out like Joffrey in Game of Thrones and then. There's been times I've eaten that much food. I'm sure Megan's convinced I'm going to die.
Oh, we can use that for the afties as well. There was a question on there that we could go through. Remind me, Joffrey.
Joffrey. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna say no, just because I ordered from them and pizza was cold when it came. They're all on bikes here.
It's on the bikes, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not. I think in real cities, I think they do use other methods.
Fucking excuse me.
No, he's got a fair point.
yeah.
I think
He's got a fair
they
point.
do use other methods of transportation.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
can bring it
mopeds
in a
and stuff.
car or on a little moped.
So I think maybe if we weren't in Perth, I just think Let's Eat or Just Eat just kind
I
of
feel sorry
rules
for the
roost here.
folk that you see like tearing up into Letham and they're on like sheer-faced hills with a bag full of food and they're like,
It's all restaurants on Deliveroo and there's fuck all takeaways on it. There's about 6 things you can choose from in KFC.
You can get
it
booze
sacked
from-
right
Is there
off.
that many takeaways in Perth, though? Yes. I haven't eaten takeaway in Perth for a very long time.
there is some
sorry.
good ends. You want
Is
to hit up
there?
El Rashid? That's the shit.
Can I just say, MK Noodle Bar is back on Just Eat.
Oh,
MK Noodles is the best.
What
is it good?
Best Chinese in
I
Perth.
don't think I've eaten that.
I've never heard of it.
Because they also do huge bags of like chips, but it's like skinny fries fries like McDonald's, so it's basically a massive bag of McDonald's chips.
I like that.
On top of noodles.
Get that with your noodles and your Szechuan chicken and your can of Pepsi.
That's my thing.
Boom.
What's your favorite restaurant in London?
In London.
Yeah. Quick tangent. Sorry, guys.
Jeez, that's a question.
We'll come back to you.
Yeah, come back to me. I don't know.
Okay. Next one here, we have Mark Miller. Shout out to Mark Miller.
Your list is all over the place. Are you starting from the top?
This is literally how it's on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Fuck off.
Professionals ever, boys.
Didn't have to
Oh,
call
you
out.
are newest. Oh, no, you're not. Right,
I'm the most relevant.
Sorry.
That was a great bit of pod. Mark Miller.
Beep that out.
Impatient people. There is a story to this. It was a very strong no from me. So I got he DM'd me the story.
Okay.
Effectively, Mark works in customer service. He was dealing with one customer. One person came in, made a bit of a fuss because they weren't getting seen to. He finally got round to that person. The person asked him a question, so he went to then go and find out the answer to that question, came back, and the person had fucked off.
That's not impatient.
I think...
Depends what the question
No,
is.
but they don't have staying power.
Let me read it. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe I read it wrong.
Like, the guy walked into the showroom and was like, has that car got brakes on it? And he's like, I'll need to go and check it. Maybe he's got a point. Do you know what I mean? But
That's hilarious.
Okay, so...
Does he want this read?
Yeah, he said that might have been sharing
Okay,
this.
all
So, customers that walk into your work that don't have an appointment and everyone is busy with someone. The reception let him know that everyone was with someone, and when someone was free, they would see to him straight away. Everything was okay at that point. 50 minutes pass, and I am free. Go and speak to the gentleman, and he loses the plot, saying how disgraceful it is that he has walked into it. You won't beat this out. And couldn't get a salesman to speak to. I calm him down and explain that we are all busy and that we're sorry he had to wait, so I can go and show him the car he's interested in. And he says, what's the price of the car? It's a brand new one and that's not on display, so I need to go and check what the price is. Go to my desk upstairs and get the price. 2 minutes later, he's walked out. I returned to reception and they said he was fed up waiting and is taking his business elsewhere.
he maybe had just come in with a fucking inheritance check or something like that and was ready to,
Ready
like,
to blow
drop
that
it
shit,
on a
yeah.
brand. Do you know what I
I
mean?
think I get what he's meant. I think it's
You
in
never
any
know,
sort of
man.
anyone who's worked in any sort of customer service, and you get people who forget that you're a human being,
Yeah.
even if you're in a job.
Yeah.
Like just because you're like employed, we used to get working on the phones in a call centre is the worst because
Oh,
they can't
it must
see you.
be.
Listen, I'm not defending the guy, but like I say, for all we know, that guy was about to come in and drop 20 stacks on a brand new motor, man. He was
That's
like, I
true.
want to buy that car and I'm fucking buying it now. And nobody could serve him.
I think
I'm not
that-
standing up for the guy, though.
I know. I
You know what
kind of, I kind of agree with you because, like, if I go in there and I'm gonna spend, like, I mean, to me, that's a lot of money to spend on a car, and it probably is to him, but he's got it, obviously. Well, hopefully, like, I would want,
I'm here to purchase a motor
especially if
vehicle,
it's a
sir.
popular car, and I don't know the situation, whatever car it was. If it's a popular car, I'd expect that certain information quite quickly. You know what I mean? Like, I want to
But
know
if
what
there's
this
not
is.
enough advisors, it can't be helped.
No,
No, that's
I'm
what
saying,
I'm
but the
saying.
second part of it, when he was like, he had to go check for it. Like, some people may be upset by that. They may not want to wait.
Is he-
Not me,
Yeah,
but
like is he classed as like a rude customer?
I would
So
say so.
really, he's saying braw or naw to rude customers,
Yes,
not
I would
impatience,
say,
because
yeah.
impatience can be great.
I would say though, rude customers. Yes.
rude
Oh,
customers.
rude customers are just straight.
I'm
going
to say like
no bin.
Straight in the bin.
Anyone
Knob
who's
it.
worked in any sort of customer-facing role will know that people are dickheads.
But Mark, we need more information. We need to know what was the question he was asking you.
Yes, exactly.
I'm going to say no to rude customers. Then. Is that a resounding no?
It is a resounding
Yes.
no.
Straight in the no bin. Right, cool. This one's from Paul Leask. Hey,
This is
it's
funny.
Fidget's cousin.
My cousin.
Is it really? Oh, I got
I totally forgot
I got a
about that when
bone
he
to pick with Paul.
So he said, eating McDonald's in your car, sitting in the McDonald's car park. It's a no from me. And he goes on to say, I think,
That
no,
he's
he
wrong?
doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't go on to say. So,
Yeah, what happened? Did that get deleted?
no, I don't think he said anything.
Oh, okay.
So, I will say there's an adage to this. Well, we'll go around the table then. This one actually got some public engagement. So I'm going to say it's bra. Fucking bra.
I love eating in my car. It was funny. I was picking Connie up from somewhere. Oh no, she was coming to my house, and I just sat in my car like the entire time out in front of my place. Like, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna hang out in my car. I'm not gonna come into like sit in my flat. She was like, why are you just sitting in your car? And I was like, I like my car.
I
Like,
do that
like
some-
sitting in a car.
I do that sometimes. If I've had a really shitty day at work and I'm getting home late, I'll park the car up and I'll sit for 10 minutes just in the motor before I get out.
Right.
Because like it's just a kind of like it's a safe space.
It
It's an
is.
enclosed space and there's nothing else in there. I can just chill out for 10 minutes and then I'll go in my house.
You said absolutely mental, man. Honestly, what's wrong with you? Fucking eating in my car. No, first of all, I'm not going to be eating in my car. And I'm,
I'll eat 6 nugget meal, no?
Nah, if I was going to sit and eat in the car park, I would have just gone in to eat it. Mind you, if you're on your own.
There's nowhere that you can't eat McDonald's.
True story.
If I'm at McDonald's in my car for the drive-through, then I'm taking it back to the house.
Well, see, you live really close to McDonald's, do you, though?
Doesn't matter. Why would I drive like 15 miles for a McDonald's?
I think McDonald's in Dundee.
I've got Burger King in Dundee.
Oh,
Do you know what I
fuck
mean?
yeah.
Go for a BK.
Right, well, I will say, just as an as this, Nate Black has piped up to say, Braw, sitting in McDonald's is para, and it's too cold by the time you get home. Warm car, comfy seat, music on, Braw.
I agree.
Yes,
I totally agree.
Fuck,
yeah.
I was sitting in my car at McDonald's.
Animals. I'm out.
Paul Leask then went on to say that promised this was not aimed at you, Mike Dots, on Sunday.
See, now that creeps me out because I was there on Sunday and I don't remember. No one came up to me. No one said anything. Dealing with this whole local celebrity thing is fucking with me, man.
Because you're only one of 6 black people that live here as well.
That too, yeah. That wasn't me. That was my cousin Byron.
Byron. Byron Dats.
To my mom's side.
And Darrell Miller has been saying, when you have kids and have to grab food, or you can't face eating in front of them because they steal all your McDonald's food, the car park is a 5-star
That too.
restaurant.
You know what, Darrell Ann, that is a very, very good point. Sometimes, sometimes my daughters may have something to eat, right? And it's dinner time, past dinner time, but I'm going to be coming home and they're going to still be up. I don't want to just feed them McDonald's just because I went and got McDonald's. You know what I mean? I may just sit in the parking lot and just eat that shit. I like that.
I sometimes do that, and then like if I get something and I've not got something for Megan when she's in the house, I'll eat it in the car and then put the wrapper or whatever's like in my work bag
Yes!
because she never goes in there.
My daughters will they'll go throw something out in the bin. They'll be like, "Dad, why is there a McDonald's bag in here?" I'm like, "Shit, I'm caught." Just jump through a window.
I remember I was
Living in a world of lies here, guys. What's wrong with you?
All
You
for a
just
fucking
outed yourself.
cheeseburger.
no, my
worried
girlfriend's
about you,
never
man.
listened to this show, so
No.
it's no. But I remember when Papa Pat's got caught. He was like putting his car in for a service. No, my mum was cleaning her car, and she goes, "Graham, do you want me to clean your car?" And he goes, "Aye." She come in with like a 5-pack of double deckers. Like, "What's this? I thought you gave up chocolate for Lent." My dad's like, "Aye, they've been in there for ages, Carol."
Super defensive. Speaking of, I know I said it, but like local celebrity. I walked into Ring of Bells on Saturday.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, "Oh, I know you. You're from that podcast." And I was like, "Yes. It is I."
Did you put that
It is
shit-eating
I.
grin on as well? Like,
I was like, "How you doing, son? How are you?" I was like, "What do you want me to sign? You want to
Yeah.
take a picture?" He was like, "Oh, I know Jordan." I was like, "Oh, fuck. Oh, shit." No, but
shout out to my man Chris.
yes, Chris. Yeah, he was funny. Yeah, he
He's
pulled
a-
his girlfriend over, and he was like, "Oh, we have a dance in school. We want
Chris,
to come on."
yeah, no, I've spoken to Chris about coming on. That'd be a good shout actually, because they've been doing a lot of work. He's another person that worked in that place, still works in that place. But yeah, he's doing some good things. Set up his own dance school, him and his girlfriend. So
It
shout
felt-
out to Chris Eady.
It
Is
felt
he still at the college, by any
I think
chance?
so, yeah.
I need to introduce me to this guy, man, just so, because I see a lot of the theatre students and that cutting about a lot. I don't know, I've never met him, so.
But you're one of like 500,000 white people in Perth. Like, so
Yeah, he stopped me. But we were in the paper, so he would have saw you. He would have stopped you. You know what I mean? Gotta
No,
recognize
you know what I
nobody
love-
stops
You
me.
know what I loved about that photo is there's 4 of us. Mike's right up the front, and then the 3 of us are all white dudes with beards in the background. Like literally all look spitting doubles at each
Let's
other.
make this look diverse.
And it reminded me of that time you told us that you always get included in the pictures for the work.
Oh yeah, I told him, "Hey, if you want to give me free lunch and get me out of work for a day, yeah, I'll be your guy."
Right. So
Okay, I'm not gonna actually go there. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Are we gonna say bro?
Yo, bro,
Bro,
Yeah,
remind me to say
100%.
that in the what do you call it? The afties.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
I'll
time
say
are we
bro.
doing that, by the way?
Oh, about an hour and 40 in.
Oh, Jesus
Okay,
Christ.
that's fine,
We better get
that's
the
fine.
Patreon shit soon. Right, we'll finish up with some more Braw or Naw. Pardon me. That's a resounding Braw. I'm the only one who really watches the Avengers. I'm gonna
I've seen the
comic book
Avengers.
films.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a fan theory. So obviously the combination's coming up. Endgame, the 22nd film in the series, is going to be like, it's just been announced. It's going to be over 3 hours long. 3 hours and 2 minutes is the official runtime. And there's a fan theory that they're going to destroy Thanos, the big baddie, by Ant-Man. The superhero can shrink himself down.
Yeah.
The theory is that Ant-Man's going to shrink himself down, climb up Thanos' butt, and then explode him from the inside.
An interesting theory.
It is an interesting.
And Stosh has said, "Is this broad? Is it not?" I'm fucking on board.
I'm saying no for that. If
I
I saw
would
that,
I agree.
if I saw that in the movie, especially after the first one,
Yeah.
it's
I'd be
true.
raging.
I know.
Yeah.
I think the dickhead in me would love something like that to
Yeah.
happen, but like the Marvel fanboy in me would cry instantly.
Yeah. Ant-Man's too good for that.
Yeah, he is.
He's too good
Fucking
for that.
love. I fucking love Paul Rudd.
So do I.
That's a no. Sorry, Stosh. I believe Andy.
I've got no opinion on it. You know, I don't watch any of that stuff, man.
Andy's watched a total of 6 films in his entire life.
7.
Right. I think we've talked about that one before.
Is that the ketchup?
The ketchup one, yeah.
J-Lo did speak on that as well. That was part of the whole men under 33.
Well, just see
thing.
what you think, Fidget. So, tomato sauce, where do you put it in your kitchen?
Oh, in the kitchen, in the cupboard.
in the cupboard.
Are you a fridge guy?
I'm a fridge guy.
No, that's
J-Lo
just
disagrees.
As is
That's
your
just
cousin as well.
weird. You never, like, no one knew that till recently. Someone looked at the bottle and went, "What? Who puts it in the fridge?"
Tastes better when it comes out the
No,
fridge.
I
It's-
like it cold. Yeah.
It's a cupboard item.
Oh, I keep all my sauces in the fridge. Sauces in the
I
fridge,
keep all
spices in the cupboard.
all other sauces in the fridge.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that? Why not ketchup?
Why
It doesn't
segregate them?
belong there.
Oh, okay. Whoa. All right.
Oh, hey. You're gonna be
You better
like,
remember whose podcast you're on. Okay.
see if I go to somebody's house for my tea, I didn't want to be getting served none of your warm ketchup.
How can you tell the difference?
Because it's warm.
Yeah, but whatever you put into
It's
it's warm.
always a bit runnier when it's sitting in the cupboard.
Yeah, that's true. And plus,
But it
it.
separates slightly more.
Yeah. You get
You've
the-
always got to
you
get that
get
good shake
the-
because you didn't
you
want to
get
get
the
that tomato ketchup
pre-cum.
pre-cum eye. You know what I mean? You're like,
Tomato pre-cum.
oh, fuck.
And we have a title.
Well, can I put that as the title?
Can I put like
The Monkey Sword Fight Podcast
I'll
is a
never-
free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature
We
subjects.
can make, that's what we can call the Patreon episode. Right. I think we maybe call it there. Can you go on a bit?
Is that all
Is
we
there any
got?
more Braw Or Naw?
There's a
Like?
couple.
Aye, go on, just get
okay.
through them.
I like
Seniors are not
I like
having any
players. People that ride horses on roads. Does it have wheels? No. Does it shuttle over the road? Aye. Try yourself to fuck, mate.
I'm gonna have to agree. I'm the same. It's the same with like fucking cyclists on a country road. That shit
Nope.
does my fucking box, especially when they cycle side by side.
Yeah,
I'm like, no, come on, that means I get to push you over as I drive past.
I disagree.
that's illegal.
Well, you like cyclists?
Yeah, my dad's a cyclist.
Oh, right. Well, your dad's a big tough
Do
dude.
you
So
want to
yeah,
go say that to him?
maybe from a distance. Take us.
I didn't mind as long as if you're going to ride on the road, make sure you got a helmet on. Give me some reflective clothing. Didn't take the piss and be cutting about with no helmet on.
Yeah.
and
Ah,
all
yeah, that
dressed
does
in
my
black.
tits.
Just
yeah.
you
A
know,
friend of mine got knocked off his bike recently, and we're like, it was in the dark, and we're like, right, so you have a light on your bike? No.
No.
What were you wearing? Well, like
Deliveroo
black
jacket.
jeans, black jeans and black jumper. Well,
There you go.
Yeah. No,
how
as
could anybody see you then?
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
literally nobody can see. you.
it's because you feel like you would as well, but there's been times when like I've never hit anyone, but like.
Someone got caught up on Twitter one day, like kind of confessing about knocking people off.
But
so.
I've never knocked anyone over.
Keep that out,
I've never
Andy.
bumped into anyone that wasn't in another car. But like you see people cycling about all the time. You're like it might be all right during the day, but especially this time of year, like 1 minute it's bright outside and then the next minute it's pitch black, and like
Yeah.
you don't see these people, and someone's gonna get
Yeah.
really fucking hurt.
Yeah.
I'm probably just being a dick, but no, I don't.
No, cycling is quite dangerous.
It
It's
is.
like-
You don't get to ride a motorbike without a helmet, so you shouldn't be allowed to ride your push bike on the road.
I
You
thought that was
also,
the law
you
anyway.
also
Without a
shouldn't
helmet.
want to.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
yeah, you get your
I don't understand.
Actually,
Fair
actually,
point.
my dad was doing some cycling thing, and he came off his bike and went headfirst into a tree,
Jeez, oh.
and he brought the helmet home. And
cracked.
it was like there was like a big gouge in it, like that, like all.
He
the way
must have been
into the helmet.
flying.
It was really, really fast, and he pinged off over the handlebars.
Nah,
into the tree.
man. I'm
So
not fucking
we're
with
like,
no
so
bikes, man.
yeah. Why would you not want to wear that?
Yeah, because the thing is, it doesn't even need to be a big fall.
No,
No,
it doesn't.
You know what I mean? You can literally just
You
fall and
hit your,
bump
hit your
your
head in
head.
the right way,
Yeah.
and
Wait,
that's it.
let's reel it back. Horses. We're talking about horses.
I'm going to say no to
I
horses.
say yeah, bro. I love a horse.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't like horses on the
I love a
road.
horse.
Why are they on the on the horse? Why are they on the road though? It depends why they're on the. I think all horses can go wherever they want.
All right. There's like a path where we walk the dogs like up in Medvin, and they just leave piles of just horse shit everywhere.
Do you know?
too.
Actually, oh my god, right! I've got a thing about this.
Okay.
My best friend at high school, I won't name her.
Name
Did you name her earlier?
No, she's my real best.
Oh, okay.
Tanith's was my real best friend.
Oh,
and
the
I
secrets are coming out now. Here we go.
I still miss her.
I see her at work. I'll tell you. Said
Do you
hello.
actually?
Yeah.
Oh, don't, because that's embarrassing. Okay, do tell her I love her.
I will
But
do.
I had another friend called.
I remember.
We used to walk. She lived up Canoe Hill, and we used to walk up Canoe Hill all the time. And if there was a big pile of horse shit, she used to kneel down and put her face in it
Why?
because she said it was really good for your skin.
Wow.
Oh no.
No.
Every time,
I just
every time without fail.
Did you join her at one point?
No,
I just moisturize like a normal person.
she
Like,
didn't have very good skin.
Ah, wow.
Couldn't you take her name out though? Because now I feel like I've just said she puts her face in horse shit
Yeah, of
and she's got
course.
bad
We,
skin.
we love
So-
we love a good beep. so
Yeah,
it's good.
yeah. Do an old beep on that. Yeah, but yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to say no to horses on the road.
I'm gonna say Braw.
Okay, I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, I love a bit of horse, mate.
Well, the guest gets the deciding vote as well, so that's a brawl straight in the brawl of
Horses
fame.
win.
Will we get in a bit of, will we keep some of these for next week?
Yes.
And
yes.
will we jump into our usual our final item, a bit of what I've been watching and listening to?
What have you been watching or listening to this week?
Have you been watching or listening to this week?
week. Andy puts in some really good fucking theme tunes.
Okay,
Our sports theme tune's my favourite shit ever.
okay.
I'll play it to you later.
Sports, did you say?
Yeah, we don't always do sports, but there's a...
Okay.
Do you watch any sports?
No.
No. Okay.
I didn't want to talk about sports because I kind of be fucked talking about how shite Scotland are and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So just yeah.
I just want to say I'm glad we didn't touch on the Odell trade. It
That's fine.
would have hurt my heart.
We'll talk about it when he's shite for the Browns next year. We'll talk about Conor McGregor next week anyway. Anyway, what we've been watching and listening to this week. I'll kick it off. I was driving down to Manchester with my boss going for work, and he's a bit of an old school sort of skater surfer from Australia. So turns out we're into a lot of the same music from when we were younger. And we're driving down, and he was in the co-pilot seat, and he stuck on "Take Off Your Pants and Jacket" by Blink-182, and I forgot how fucking much I love that album. Now I've probably not listened to that album in about at least 10 years, and I remembered every single word on every single fucking song.
It's just pure you.
Oh, it was amazing. Like, it literally took me back to my long-haired, baggy jeans,
Yeah.
skateboarder, little punk mink. So I'm going to give that a retrospective 9 bananas out of 10. That is
A retro 9.
honestly one of my favourite albums of all time. Just for like production value, songwriting, like general nostalgia that comes along with it. Take Off Your Pants and Jacket is the fucking bomb. I also went to see the new Jordan Peele film Us at the cinema. There's the guy who wrote and directed Get Out last year.
Oh, was it good?
Oh, yeah, how was it?
So
Good.
fucking
I
good.
didn't actually know that was out yet.
Yeah,
me
it
neither.
came out on Friday, so me and Chuff went to see it on Sunday evening. And oh man, it's so fucking good. The story's brilliant. My new absolute idol is Winston C. Duke, the guy who plays in Baku in Black Panther.
Big boy.
He's like my that's my idol. We're shaped similar. We're both thick.
He is a large man.
Like,
yeah.
we're not obese, but we're both bigger than your average bear. So he's like my new idol. Because I was sitting on his Instagram page and he was talking, like, when I'm doing my training, I just had to embrace my genetics. I was like, yeah, I'm a fat cunt too. Fucking right. But yeah, he's cool as fuck, man. The soundtrack is amazing. There's a really good, it's on the playlist on Spotify, and it's like a sort of orchestral mix of I Got Five on it. And it's just really fucking creepy. And they use it in the film. And the main actress, Lupita Nyong'o, she is fucking sensational. She's so like... yeah, I've not spoiled it. There's like this family get attacked by their doppelgangers. Yeah. That's effectively it. And the story, the way the film's shot, all the kids are cast. And the one thing I will say as well is like it escapes that. So I don't know if this was intentional on Jordan Peele's part, but like you get stupid white people in horror films.
Yeah.
They don't make any of those mistakes in this film. Do you know what I mean? Like this black family just do not fuck
No
around.
running up the
And
stairs and
it's like,
taking a shower.
yeah.
And
It's a 10-minute movie. They
Yeah.
just, if something happens, they just run off screen,
Everything's
credits
cool.
roll, that's
Yeah.
it.
Winston Duke just starts busting people up. But no, honestly, I'll give that 8 bananas out of 10.
Oh, good.
I prefer it to Get Out. I do love Get Out. I love a horror thriller, but I prefer this one. Like the story was good. I watched a couple of videos on YouTube after it, and he made a really good point where like some of the ideas aren't. There's an explanation to everything, but like it doesn't give you like full on black story. And he goes, I wanted it to. I said black story. That's really bad. Backstory.
It's racist.
Sam wasn't racist. He said he wants the film to be thought of more as like an ink blot. So obviously, like, you take your opinion as like.
Yeah.
So he gives you enough that you'll enjoy the film, but he doesn't like explain all the mystery of the movie away. So yeah, 8 bananas and what else? I feel like I did something else as well. No, that's it. I've been very boring this week, but those were my 2. We shall go to Mike.
We can, yeah. I've got a lot of old stuff that I didn't. The only thing new that I've watched was Afterlife on Netflix.
The Ricky Gervais thing.
Ricky Gervais, yeah. I'm kind of iffy on Ricky Gervais. Sometimes I like him, sometimes I don't. I like this is like kind of really depressing black humor, and I'm like 3 episodes in.
That's
really
racist.
Good. It is racist, yeah. Considering there's no black people on the show, it is racist. No, yeah, it's a really good show, really dark humor, and so far I'll give it a 7.5. 7.5.
Are you a bit like me? Do you like Ricky Gervais as an actor rather than Ricky Gervais as a person? Because
Yes,
I like
definitely.
I like him.
I don't mind him either way.
Because I love The Office. I love Derek, and I'm sure if I watched this, I'd like it as well. But
Yeah.
him as a person just tends to wind me the fuck up.
He's a dick.
Yeah,
He is.
He's
I
kind of
wouldn't-
full of his own self-importance now.
I wouldn't go out of my way to watch anything that he's in, but yeah, he's always made me laugh anytime that I did watch him. So I'm kind of like, I should probably look out for his stuff more, but maybe it is because he is a dick. Yeah.
Nah, fair enough.
The Big Narstie Show. That's something new that I've been watching. Has anyone seen this? It's fucking hysterical. Just watch it every week. It's great. Also, because I may have talked about this a couple of months ago now, but guy, his name is AC. He doesn't rap anymore. From Staten Island, where I'm from. Calls himself the Latin from Staten. He
You did
released
talk about
on the. I did. Yeah.
yeah.
He
You
called-
played his mixtape, or you talked about.
Oh,
His
to
mixtape.
the 9/11 mixtape. Oh, okay. Well, it's just for every time like a plane hit the towers, he like released a song for it. And on the day of the anniversary, he like dropped one every single, to kind of commemorate it. And he's got one with who sings 50 Ways to Kill Your Lover or 50
Paul Simon.
Paul Simon. Yeah, he's got like a mix on that, which I think that you'd like, Andy Mac. So it's pretty good. So I'll share the link on that. Also, because I have Tidal, black-owned business, since we're talking about race, Jordan. No, I'm joking. Listened to Blueprint and the Black Album today. I had the Black Album, the edited version in the car with my daughters, and we were all singing along. So it was a good family moment. And they've been watching Ratatouille all
Good film.
month long.
Okay, it's not that.
Holy
good a film.
shit. No, but every time it's on, I'm like, why is this on? And then I end up sitting down there like, oh, he's cooking. The rat's cooking. This is great. So, Ratatouille, I'm going to give that a strong 8. That's a good movie.
Yeah, it's
Surely
a
as a
sort of
kid,
Pixar
did
film.
you not have like a film that you like maybe one summer you just watch like the same film
Yeah.
over,
Rocky.
over,
Not
over
an
again?
old
Rocky
that was,
3.
That
Rocky
movie's
3.
probably older than them. When did that come out? I need to look it up.
Ratatouille's like 2 seconds. Let me have a look.
Maybe like 2004, 5, something like
Yeah,
that.
it's quite
Maybe.
old.
Yeah, it's an
now,
old movie, and
yeah.
they love that shit.
2007.
Because
But then what did you just say? Rocky?
Rocky 3.
So that's old.
That's true. Yeah, I watched that a lot. Yeah. You're right. Good
But then it was
observation.
my boy done that years ago. My kid put me off Toy Story for the longest time.
No.
Riley watched Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 every day from the age of 2 to the age of 6.
That is acceptable.
No, it just really is.
Age of 2 and the Bairn sat there for 3 2-hour feature-length film. Fucking square eyes by the end of it, man.
Oh man, like
Poor Bairn.
it was fucking. Oh man, I can watch them now, but for the longest time couldn't watch them. Could not watch them. You got anything else?
I'm all done.
Cool. Fidget. What's
What
on
have I
you?
been watching and listening to? God.
And
I've
or
been-
reading, both.
And reading. I'm reading Betty Blue.
There's a book of that.
It was a book first.
Okay.
I've just my whole life apparently so I've been listening to as well because I've been listening to the soundtrack whilst I've been reading the book.
So this is your favourite film of all time.
It's my favourite film of all
Betty
time.
Blue.
Yeah, Betty Blue. Yeah, it's 32 degrees in this morning, 37 degrees in the morning. I can't remember. 32 or 37 degrees in the morning in French.
Oh, yeah.
And it's amazing. That's like it's one of my favorite things in the world. It makes me really
Erotic
sad.
psychological drama.
Yeah, like you've seen it.
I watched it. Yeah.
Like reading the book is just like a more intense version of the film.
The film's pretty fucking
The
intense.
film is intense, but it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
They're exactly the same, but then you just get like more description, obviously, and like you're just a little bit deeper in it, if that's possible. I just spend loads of my time just wishing that I lived in France selling pianos. But yeah, it's about this woman who starts going out with this guy called Sorg, and it's basically just a little journey of her mental health deterioration whilst she's with this guy, who she finds a book that he's written, and she's convinced that he's the world's greatest writer, but no one appreciates him, and it drives her insane. And so she's like constantly trying to have everybody realize what a genius this guy is, and he himself also is like, I'm not. I literally just wrote. I didn't do any of this on purpose. I literally just wrote something once, but she's obsessed with it, and then it's just like, a little story of them. But it's my favorite thing ever. But I've been listening to that, reading that.
What would you give that out of 10 bananas?
Oh, like a billion bananas. All the bananas.
billion
I can
bananas.
have all of the bananas.
Generous, Mark.
She actually has a banana on the
I have
table
a banana,
here.
Yeah, I brought
One
a
of
banana
those
with
billion.
me. Yeah. I've been listening to PJ Harvey.
Nice.
I can't remember the name of the album. Dry. That is.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
That was just. I've been listening to it. It's a bit
And
dry.
you can't go wrong with PJ Harvey. And I've been watching I just watched lots of really depressing stuff that just makes me feel like, do you ever get that feeling like, I always get it at night, and it's because I watch too much stuff like this where you just realize that you're going to die.
I get that after something really good happens.
Yes,
Is
I
that
do.
weird?
I do. No,
I
I do
something-
as well.
Something really good happens, and I was like, well, we're all going to be dead in 30 years, so what's the...
Oh my God, I
well,
get
hopefully not 30
exactly,
years.
because also, I don't want that if you could take a pill for immortality, I would take it in a heartbeat, because I don't ever want to die, and I feel like I don't want to miss out on all this stuff. So like when
Yeah.
something good happens, I'm like,
I tend to get. I just get really nervous about like how badly I'm going to do in the coming apocalypse.
yeah,
That's what worries me. That's what keeps me up at night. Is like I can't hunt
you
for
need
shit.
fuel.
Imagine the feeling.
I do.
though.
Yeah, I'll start eating people. I'll be
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah,
cannibal zero.
yeah.
Like I will be cannibal zero.
Imagine the feeling though. You've taken a pill, right? You're never going to die, but you've got to watch everybody that you love around you die, and then you've got to keep making new friends, but then they're going to die, and then
Just
As long as
don't
there's
make
Twitter,
any.
I'd be happy.
As long as there was Twitter and Pornhub.
Yeah,
Porn
just
band's
get
coming in
all
soon.
of them to take it as well.
Yeah.
Only select people. Get a select few to take it. You get say you get a pack of 5.
Ooh.
hey, that would be.
Should we save that for the afties? Oh.
Yeah, Patreon. Oh no,
Right.
who would you pick?
Yeah. But yeah, I've been watching like the just Netflix things about Ted Bundy, and
Yeah.
this is what my
People
evenings have
love
spent
that
just
shit.
watching serial killers and lots of paedophiles.
I once bought my
Which is
ex.
Slap
Like,
so depressing. Yeah,
I once bought my
so
ex like a
depressing.
box set on like famous murderers for Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "What the fuck?" And it was the thing she liked the most.
Yeah.
which worried me greatly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, the pedos not so much, but the serial killers, they are
Yeah.
fascinating characters.
Watching the serial killers is slightly easier than what like sometimes it's like, right, we've seen like 5 things about paedophiles in a row, can we watch something that doesn't involve this now? But
This guy didn't touch them, but he killed
do you
them.
know what
though.
though, like the Ted Bundy thing as well. So watching that, did you see that, the
I've not
Netflix
watched it yet.
Ted
Yeah.
Bundy do you see
I've
it?
seen it, yeah.
How many times you could have like that, that game where you take a shot every time someone says a word?
Yeah.
You could take a shot every time somebody says how handsome he is.
I know, yeah.
What is that? Like literally the first words out of everyone. All these like, I thought it was weird that it was all like these old guys who are probably like from the times when they would have been a bit homophobic or whatever. The first words out their mouth are just about how gorgeous he is and how
Handsome.
so
Well, that's
handsome.
what you were saying. That was
Charming,
part of
handsome,
his.
charming
That was part of his
man.
thing.
Because we touched on it, because everybody was kicking off saying, "Oh, Tom Hardy's giving him sex appeal," and I made the point of the podcast saying that was Ted Bundy's thing, was
yeah,
his
yeah,
sex
I-
appeal and
and-
how charming and
And
intelligent and
obviously,
manipulative he
yeah,
was.
like obviously I have never met him, so I don't know. Watching the thing,
You better
look-
fucking loved them. Talking about earlier on.
he's sexual. I wouldn't have.
Oh, you're
Sorry, right enough. Yeah, I
You're
forgot
right.
he was that. I thought he
But
was just a murderer.
seeing him and seeing his face and everything, he wasn't handsome.
But
And
then-
there was nothing like hearing him talk. I was like, I don't get it. But
I imagine
but
as well, it's
obviously
like,
I wasn't in the room with
if
him.
he's got the thing that you talked about, because
That's
this
what I'm
is
saying.
there's a
Maybe he
complete.
had the
Someone once
Yeah.
said to me,
thing.
because I once asked someone, "Why is Prince a sex symbol?"
Oh, because he's got the thing.
Exactly. So it's the
But
person. You know what it was? It was
but you
my,
can see that from the telly.
Yeah, but like I'd imagine like the thing about with psychopaths especially is they can turn things on and off in an instant.
Yeah, that is
They
true.
can manipulate the situation.
Yes.
I just think it's interesting, you know, you look at me and say, well, I don't think he was that good looking. Then you look at all the women that he murdered, and they were apparently all these gorgeous, pretty young women for the
Yeah.
time. But I would look at their photos and go, she's fucking stinking, mate.
But it was back in the 70s as
Like,
well.
I'm all right, I'll pass.
I'm all
Fucking
right.
hell, man.
I'm gonna leave the joke.
Dodge
I'm
that
gonna leave the
bullet.
joke there. I'm gonna leave that joke there as well.
Right, sorry.
Right. Anything else?
No, that'll do.
I didn't say much, but I tell you what. What have I been watching, listening to this week? I'm actually just away to start Stosh's book, so I'm actually going to have the review for you next week because I think it'll be a fairly short read. What have I been listening to this week? I've been listening to a lot of guitar players. Been listening to a lot of Guthrie Govan. I've been listening to a lot of country music this week.
Yeah.
A lot of country guitar players as well. On top of that, being locked in the Stoods heavy. Barkwright's EP's done, mixed mastered.
Excited about that.
My boy Swain, who just got his new stuff all together there. And other than that, I'm just fucking running hundreds of sessions and busy as fuck. So
Good man.
Well, the stuff I'm listening to is all stuff I'm working on for other artists. We just about finished Hannah's EP as well. So
Deadly.
yes,
Nice.
Good times. Watched absolutely fuck all as usual.
DOS. Right, well, we'll wrap up because it's been a long episode. We've still got to do the fucking
has.
Patreon stuff as well. Right, thank you very much, Fidget, for coming on.
Thank you for having
It's
me.
been a pleasure. Is there anything, would
interesting.
you like to give out your Instagram handle to our dear listeners?
Yeah, but usually when I spell it, people don't know what it is, but I'll spell it anyway. It's
Go.
just Fidjit, Fidjit.
There you go. We will.
It's the J. Do I
It's
say
the J.
Jai? Jai? No,
J.
'cause that's
J for
weird, isn't
Juliet.
it? J for Juliet.
Well, we're global, so people will understand.
Yeah. It's Jai.
Jai's an American one, really, isn't it?
No,
I
it's
thought it
say
was
J.
Scottish.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes, didn't mate.
We speak correctly, okay?
You speak American.
American.
it's a fun.
All right, go,
That
go,
was
go.
nice.
Thank you to this week's sponsor, Stevie Mac's Skate School. Find them on Facebook. Skateboarding lessons, one-to-one tuition, all ages and abilities cater for every week from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Perth Skate Park. Find them on Facebook, Stevie Mac's Skate School.
Boom.
Thank you again to everyone on Patreon. You want to read them out again?
Yeah, please.
Go for it.
If you don't mind.
You got it? You're there?
It's part of the deal. Shout out the start and end
Shout
every
out.
episode.
The Patreon people.
Do you want me to read it out this time?
If you have it open, yeah, go ahead.
I don't, but
I have it open. Do you want
Right,
to
go for it? Yeah. Shout out to David Forrett, Davey Forrett, Callum McLaughlin, Ralph the Man Rogalski. Should we give them names?
We should start giving people nicknames. That'd be great.
Okay, right,
Next
okay.
episode.
Next episode, okay. That can be part of the Patreon.
Yeah.
Hot Rod, you've already
Get a
got one. Shout out to Big Stosh, Andy Henderson, the original creator of Maurice, Nate Black, vegan jiu-jitsu master, Ali Cook, smartest man on the Facebook, Rachel. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
A big shout out to Reevy, man at Reevy Print, who did these killer t-shirts for us. So thank
Thanks,
you very
Reevy.
much. You can find us on Facebook, Podbean, Monkey Sword Fight Podcast. You can email us all your questions, your Braw Or Naws, your Agony Andes, Monkey Sword Fight Podcast at gmail.com. I am on Twitter at Wagwan Patrice.
I am also on Twitter at @_mdots.
I'm there at Macapella.
Thank you once again for listening, liking, sharing. Give us a wee review on iTunes. Catch you later. Take care. Peace.
Peace.